Felicitations, adventurers. Welcome to Shall We, our Wander Home Let's Play, or actual play series. It's kind of a Let's Play. I'm Taylor Felicity. I use she, her pronouns. I'm here with Mila, Melanie, and Zay. If you're new here, I am the producer behind Roll for Felicity, and I'm gonna, before things can go too wild, throw it over to my players to introduce themselves. We'll start with Mila.
Hello, I am Mila. They, them pronouns. I was so close to saying she, her, and just completely misgendering myself. Mila, they, them pronouns. And I'm very happy to be here. I'm playing partially a little bit Enki the teacher, which I'm very excited for. We'll see how much I actually play them. And sometimes you can find me here on Twitch. I'm also over on Tumblr and Twitter. Sometimes I stream. I would also like to plug Logan Timmons' Discord for Lyrical Duodology, the podcast, because I sent a photo of a cool bird the other day that I thought was just a duck, and it turns out it was a coot, and that was very fun to learn. So it's a very good podcast, especially for burbs. Also, I would like to I would also like to plug Melanie's future podcast.
At the end of our intros, can you tell us what a coot is?
Yeah.
I also love that you're doing plugs at the beginning of the stream, which is not normally
had to carry
what
away.
we do.
Up top, before you stop watching, actually,
Yeah.
Check out my friend's unreleased podcast.
Yeah, just
Get
be
those
ready.
plugs in everywhere.
Just be ready.
be ready for this podcast. We won't say the name.
I don't want to take your thunder.
Melanie, if you want to talk about your podcast, don't do it now. Wait until the end of the stream, but introduce yourself.
Okay, hi. My name is Melanie Andrews. My pronouns are she, her. I will be playing Giuseppe Crabapples, the orchardist. And thanks to my color changing nail polish, I found out that I have very poor circulation.
Fun fact.
And that's a little bit about me.
And Zay, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us about any medical quirks you've discovered?
I'm Zay. I write and play RPGs. I don't know that I've recently discovered any. I also have poor circulation. It's a fun thing to find out.
There you go. I probably have poor circulation, so that's something
I'll
that
let you try this nail polish.
Yeah.
That's the test.
If when you stand up, all of your blood rushes out of your fingers and you didn't realize that was happening, you'll be able to tell with this nail polish.
I rarely stand, so maybe I still wouldn't find out. It's my goal in life to never stand. I'm either sitting or laying down.
Living the dream.
Yeah. We are missing someone today. Layla would normally be here, but we're just going to have to do our best without Zer. So, there's also, if anyone notices I was making some weird faces during other people's introductions, it's because I was trying to figure out what was going on with my bot, which is that I was just doing the wrong commands. So links to all of the players are in chat right now, so you can check out other places where you can find them. And also I should say Melanie canonically first in chat, so no one else could ever take that away from her. And also Len Diane, thank you so much for the follow. There are some different things that you can do to support the stream today. One of them is if there's a moment that you would like to see on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you can put an exclamation point followed by the word marker in chat, or you could say, "Hey Taylor," with an exclamation point, like I am doing right now. That will make a stream marker for me to come back to. It's not doing it for some reason right now. I know what I'm doing. Is that working? There we go. You could apparently do "Hey Taylor." A marker didn't work for some reason. There are also, I should say last stream, I actually hit my fundraising goal for the PCRF. So we raised $100 for the Palestine Children Relief Fund. I probably will do another one, but since that goal was met, I have it off for right now. I didn't immediately do another fundraising goal. But we do have some tipping incentives, which are the same as they usually are for these streams. So for $2, you can give one person a bonus. For $5, everyone gets a bonus. For $10, we will add a complication for our characters that will dramatically impact the story. Last session, this meant someone was hit by a cart. And also, the king's procession started coming down the mountain, which I also said was because of Zavery for tipping actually $15 last session. There are some fun channel point redemptions. One of them you can see right now on stream. Melanie redeemed Greg, our small and forgotten tiny shiny worm god. There are some other ones too, though. You can make it rain, not with money, but rain on the overlay. Oh yes, which is raining on Layla. Very funny to be raining where Layla would normally be, even though they're not here.
That's so sad.
That's how we
Hey,
all
real
feel.
quick, Mila, can you give us what Greg would sound like if they were celebrating hitting the fundraising goal?
And also, it's raining on them.
Oh, 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 so wet. But yay.
So wet. Yay.
We're helping children.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm here all session.
Oh my god.
That's good news.
So yeah, you can see right now some of the different things you can make it rain for like a minute or so. You can make it rain on individual people. And finally, last thing you can do for the stream, congratulations, you're already doing it, whether you're watching live on Twitch or watching the VOD later on YouTube. We appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see. Normally, I would read a little intro, but this is a GM-less game, and Zay has written a little something to get us started. So Zay, take it away.
Yeah. Ever since the days of war and revolution have ended, the Hidden Valley Garden has been a quiet and peaceful place. The people there live simply, with most of their energies and worries concerned with the raising of their children and growing their gorgeous prize crops. The mountain that looms above them, however, serves as a stark reminder of more troubled days. Somewhere atop said mountain sits a cruel and capricious king, holed up with his most and mostly loyal servants. The people of Hidden Valley Garden, and its current visitors, well know the power such a kith can wield and all the pain that comes with it. Luckily for them, the king rarely, if ever, ventures near Hidden Valley, preferring to remain at a distance, formulating plans and issuing edicts. That is until today. And I think we can zoom back in on our little band of adventurers standing in the rain, watching in the distance the telltale glint of the king and his retinue venturing down the mountain.
Very good. That was so good. It's, I think the rain has let up, probably, because there's kind of these short bouts of rain. I think it was like afternoon, maybe like early, probably like late afternoon, I think, when we last left off.
That sounds right.
And I'm assuming, so since Layla's not here today, I think maybe maybe Craig ran off somewhere with Greg to do something. That
feels correct.
Yeah, that can maybe be corrected next week, but or 2 weeks.
I thought we were winding down for the evening, weren't we?
I don't think so. You had pulled.
Bubbles.
You'd pulled in. Giuseppe. It really doesn't matter that much, but Giuseppe had pulled in the afternoon for like when recess was happening, and then you were getting settled in the barn. That's kind of like the place where people stay. So it could be early evening. I think there has to be some degree of sunlight because we saw the glint of the
light.
retinue. Yeah. But it can really be whenever. We could say it like took a while for Giuseppe to settle in, or that we were doing other stuff. But yeah. What happens next?
Are we in media res? You seeing like this coming down the mountain? I don't think Giuseppe when we left off. I don't think
That's
he had noticed it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think because Giuseppe doesn't know. I think it was Enki, Rosemary, and Maisie saw and understood the significance. Giuseppe and Craig, I don't think did. And I think the last scene we had really was Maisie and Rosemary talking, like pretty
So,
seriously about the implications of the king being around, of Maisie wanting to kill the king. Rosemary basically saying, "I can't do that, but I want to help you with with whatever happens. Just don't ask me to do that one thing." So I think, yeah, yeah. What do you think people would be doing from there? Enki also saw it, so Enki could be like saying something to Giuseppe. We could have Rosemary and Maisie come back over and talk to everybody and talk a little about what's going on. We could jump ahead in time. We could really do whatever.
Hmm.
I think so. Giuseppe gets Antonio set up in the barn and stuff, and the rain starts letting up after Craig and Greg have run off. I think he comes out kind of dusting off the dirt that's on his hands onto his dirty pants and kind of puts his hand on Maisie's shoulder and is like, "So, Kit," and he stops himself. "So, Maisie, so what's there to do around here? What have you guys been doing to keep busy?"
Well, Craig's been working on the tomato thing, which I guess maybe I don't know where he went, but maybe we could. He said that he had figured out that the seeds were rotten, but that the seeds hadn't been thrown away yet. The new seeds hadn't been gathered yet, and
Mhm.
a plan had not yet been formed. So maybe we could. I mean, there's those tomato plants in that garden over there that
I was
Greg's
gonna
pointing
say,
out.
what's the deal with these beautiful specimens? These beautiful babies. As we see the giant field of yellow heirloom tomatoes.
I think
So we
Maisie's
can just
very.
like take them, or
I assume this has got to be someone else's, right? I, if they just belong to the town, then I
then
wouldn't
they
be much
wouldn't
of
be
a
having a
problem.
tomato problem. Yeah, yeah.
I think Greg last session said that they belonged to the king, and that's where the heir part of heirloom is
I think
from.
I was I there for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know if you were
Giuseppe
not.
might have been. I was thinking that the others, that Rosemary at least was not.
Yeah. Um, Maisie, I think, is very conflicted right now because there's a part of her that's like, who cares if they belong to the king? They're just sitting there. They're not doing anything. We need them. But then the other part of her is like, knows the king is about to be here, so this is the worst possible time to steal these tomatoes. So is just kind of looking between the field and then back at the mountain and then back at the field and then back at the mountain, like when your dog knows that like they're not supposed to do something but are like still really want to do it.
What you looking at, Maisie?
Well, so the king is on his way,
Oh,
probably with my dad, and the tomatoes I think Greg said belong to the king, so it's we probably shouldn't take them, but he's probably not going to miss just a couple. He hasn't been here in a while.
uh, Giuseppe leans kind of cartoonishly out and looks left and looks right at this big field, looking for anyone guarding these tomatoes at all. Do we think there's anyone around?
I think no, because I think when we talked about, I think this is not on stream, but when we talked after the stream about kind of what we wanted to do, if we were going to get in trouble, we wanted it to be from like the king and his immediate retinue. And I don't think there's anybody in the town that's like policing this. So
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea that there's not anybody watching it. It's just a known taboo.
Good. Well, Giuseppe looks back and forth and is just like, well, I mean, I don't see any king here right now. And also, I think it's kind of silly to say that a plant belongs to any one person over another, especially when it's in this town. Like, they're the ones who have been maintaining and built up this soil. So it feels like they have more right to it than anyone.
I agree with you, Giuseppe, but I also know a lot of history books that it turned out very differently than that.
Mm. Mm. You'll have to read me some passages sometime, and I'm gonna go up to a plant that has like several tomatoes on it, trying to find one that I'm not gonna pick bare and just like maybe take one off one plant, one off another, and just kind of like put it in my poncho. That's plenty of seeds in there. And they need time to dry out anyways if you want to get viable tomato seeds. So we can get a start on that. And they're coming down the hill. They're going to be a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just start whistling as I stroll away from you all to go to a place where I can start prepping these tomatoes.
One of
I think Enki just looks very like impressed. Like, it doesn't say anything that you shouldn't do it, but more of just an acknowledgement of like it doesn't always go that way, and it's just like fully supports you.
I don't know if anyone clocks it, but I know that the motivation behind Giuseppe doing something that maybe is brash is like feeling poorly about not supporting Maisie initially,
Yeah.
like not being able to support her in the way that she was wanting. And it's just like, well, I can do this. I can do this little bit of rebellion. This is
Yeah.
fine. These are tomatoes. Easy.
There's something Hidden Valley Garden can always do, which is show a threat that's up ahead. We, as players, know we want there to be confrontation with the king over this. So what do we think is something that maybe none of us even notice that is a telltale sign that some of these tomatoes have been taken?
Maybe footprints. Like, it's raining, so that
Yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
pretty. We got good mud.
Yeah.
Big toad feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of mud on Giuseppe's feet or shoes as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. That's really good. What is Giuseppe's process for getting these seeds taken out? And because one of the other things the garden can always do is describe the process of creation, and I feel like this is a good moment for you to describe that.
Oh, that's an excellent question. I think he probably goes to whatever seems like a main building. Like, I don't know if the Weaver's workshop or somewhere where there's the townsfolk here. Maybe he wanders into the Weaver's workshop and like starts talking to our Weaver Beaver June July. And starts like talking about like possibly like, oh, so we found these, we did find some what will be good, seeds here. And what would be probably the most efficient way is just to, pulp this, but that's not the nicest way to do it, I think. Do you happen to have any lettuce around or strips of what would maybe the place of bacon?
I guess some kind of bug meat, right?
Yeah, could I get some bug strips?
That's a good bug meat.
Some of those grasshopper tummy strips.
Bug and strips.
Yeah, bug and strips. I think he asked June July to like help him out, and so he has like some good hearty bread there, and the supplies to make gorgeous BLTs, and has thick slabs of these yellow tomatoes, and like picks out the seeds from them, but makes sandwiches for everyone who's like in his immediate vicinity for us to enjoy. Um, and then takes the seeds and has them uh, grab some kind of cloth, like cheesecloth, to have it stretched over some kind of probably like an embroidery hoop, have something like that, and then have the seeds on that. They need to sit out and actually like dry because right now actually there's this jelly around the seeds, and that they're not gonna grow if you leave that there. So they gotta dry out for at least a few days, I think. I'm not really a tomato expert. I just know a little bit, but
I think there's some. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're fine.
I think there's like some kids who have kind of gathered around, like these kids who like are out of school, and one of them is like, "There's a jelly around it, like strawberry jelly, like or grape jelly."
Here, hold out your hand. And he puts like one or two seeds in their paw, and starts like poking it around, and it's like, see, so it's got this kind of jelly coating, almost like the jelly coating around like a tadpole egg, it's supposed to keep it safe.
It's an egg?
You know what it kind of is. All seeds are kind of eggs for plants.
It doesn't taste like jelly.
No, I don't think you'd like this kind of jelly. There is tomato jelly, though, that goes through a different process and can be quite tasty.
What's that process?
Oh, I don't know. I've never made it. Maybe we could look at, you know what? If there's any books around here, maybe we can, once we start processing these tomatoes, maybe we can make some, huh? What do you say?
I don't think I like tomato jelly.
I don't know. I've heard it's very good.
I love tomato jam. You shouldn't make tomato jelly. You should make tomato jam.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? Just walks away. Small child.
I mean, of course there's a difference. I was just curious what they thought the difference was.
Sure.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry, I just hit my keyboard pretty hard. Yeah, I think Giuseppe is the kind of like good-natured, avuncular type chap who's like showing kids how to do stuff and is happy. Like if kids start following him while he's doing stuff he's already doing, he'll be like, yeah, come along. But he's not actually trying to teach anybody anything. It just kind of ends up happening.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so that's what he's off doing.
What do we think are some of the preparations? I think maybe the do we think that the festival, the fertility festival, is tonight, or do you think it's tomorrow?
That's a great question. That's an excellent question. I don't know. They've been prepping by putting up the statues we talked about of like the large gourds. I think I'm kind of interested. What do we think goes into a festival like this? Like, what are the signs of this festival? What are like the ways that they celebrate it? Right, Goji?
We know there's big gourd statue kind of things, right?
Suggestive gourd statues.
We also have one of the folklores of the place that I don't think we've touched on at all, which we don't have to be fair, is the burning of the corn woman.
Yes.
Yes.
So
maybe
one of the many
I
statues
do
is a
touch on
giant
this.
corn woman. Like a corn husk doll, but woman
Giant.
and tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this won't be the first corn husk doll that I see burnt with all of you. I hope it won't be my last.
It certainly won't be.
Yeah, so I think that's like being built. I guess the level at which it's completed depends on whether it's being burnt tonight or tomorrow. If it's being burnt tomorrow, it's probably pretty early. Like it's maybe maybe the frame of it has been built, but the corn husks aren't there. If it's being built tonight, it's probably just about done.
Yeah, the
burnt
very
tonight.
voluptuous frame is just now taking shape. Doesn't have a head yet, but does have hips and boobs.
Are you
Boobs?
sure about that?
I don't know. This is a collaborative
I
game.
don't
Do
think
you
she is. What if it's just hips?
If they're just tits? Yeah, maybe they're just tits.
Just
I don't
floating.
think that's what
Yeah.
they said.
Look, I know we said no diversion, or fewer diversions, but I feel like now we need to know the difference between
Maybe
boobs
not
and
boobs, maybe just tits.
All right, Mel. What's
What
the
I
difference?
thought the difference is, this is probably wrong. What I was thinking, the first one was there's a body and there's boobs on the body. The other one is it's just tits, no body.
Maybe there's just the tits right now.
Just
Just the tits.
No body at all.
just the tits.
Oh my god.
There's gonna be a tiny head and tiny legs. But then also just that would be such a funny correction for Zay to make also, I have to say. For them to come in and say, no, actually just
No.
tits.
Get rid of the hips. No body.
He's a real tit person, nothing else.
I didn't question it. I was like, yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right. They're just
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Why would I be right about that?
no.
I'll say what I thought Melanie was
How
saying.
could you be wrong?
I heard Zay say no, whatever they actually said, no hips
What did
or
you
whatever.
say, Zay?
Yeah,
Maybe
just
the
hips.
hips.
Yeah.
Okay.
With an A.
like the boobs hadn't been built yet.
Like the word you said 30 seconds earlier.
Yeah, sure.
Just the hips. What I heard what Zay actually said, and what I thought Melanie was saying was there was like a dichotomy of like boobs on one side and tits on the other, and it's like depending on like what that means about what they are.
Wow, the dichotomy of
like,
woman.
I want to hear more about that. What's the boob tit scenario? What makes something a boob but not a tit, and vice versa? Okay.
This is such a good game.
I don't think this has anything to do with the
There's some kind of creature at the bottom explaining all of this, giving directions of how this is to be built. Now we want to
No,
we want
Right
these-
now, we
if you do it like that, that's tits.
Yeah, we got the tits here. We're bringing the tits in. Can we get the tits lowered on in?
It's supposed to be boobs. You're giving me tits.
If you ask me, these boobs are looking a little tit-like.
It's actually just two birds.
two giant tits.
Two giant tit mice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Holy tit.
Holy tits. Holy tits, Batman.
Tits is like has such a connotation of just like being kind of like dismissive too. Of just be like, it's like it's infertility. And I'm just like she's got breasts, and but like to be like, yeah, the tits on her. It's so fucking funny.
That's good.
Fuck, that's so funny.
Holy shit! It's not gonna get better than this.
We've peaked.
Yeah,
Like,
we're not doing a finale episode.
It sucks that it's early, but at least
We
got there.
peaked and we're pushing right out that shirt.
All right.
All right.
So I think wrangling it back into one room. Like someone trying to steer a sandworm is sometimes how I feel.
That would be easier.
Every stream, Taylor's just. Every beginning of every stream, Taylor's just there, waiting.
Taylor's like, it's a GM-less game.
And then the beginning, sand everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So I think then we can say, based on all of that, the frame has been built. Let's say fully.
It's very full.
Hips,
Very full.
tits, head, everything is there.
Tummy.
Yeah. And tomorrow during the day they'll be kind of putting the corn husks and other things on it. And maybe this is like burning the last of the reserves from the last year, like maybe the last little bits of corn that have been saved for like over the winter. So it's like it's stuff that like probably isn't really consumable, or if it is, that it's like worth it for this last big hurrah. I like that. It explains why this is happening.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot.
So that's happening. We got the big Gourd statues. And I think people are working really hard because first of all, they have to plant all the stuff that needs to be planted. And then also there's this fertility festival, because if the fertility festival doesn't happen, then all this planting will be for nothing. So people are really just working late into the night, I think, to get ready for this.
So one of the things about the place that we're in, Hidden Valley Garden, is that there's the sounds of like work songs happening. Do we think any of those songs are horny with this fertility festival coming up?
I mean, there's a lot of innuendos. For sure.
Good. Good.
I think it's one of those things where the kids don't get it, and then as they get older, they're like, oh, this is the thirstiest song I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually about tomatoes.
Wait, it's not about tomatoes?
It's not about tomatoes.
What is it about then?
I think it's about testicles.
Testicles?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And our parents have just been playing, like, they've been performing this for us for our entire lives. A song about testicles that they tell us is about tomatoes. And that's just fine?
As a lovesick
fine with
teen,
me.
I feel conflicted.
I just, really becoming an adult and being a very, fully fledged 16-year-old, I just feel, or the equivalent of whatever animal I am, I think that love is supposed to be nice and soft and sweet. And this is just crude and terrible. It loses the point of love. It's vulgar. I don't want my relationships just to be about sex. I think it needs to be all about love. That's my opinion.
I don't want to hear my mom talk about tomatoes ever again.
Sorry. Just the chat being tomaticals, and then Sierra.
Sierra, I looked at tits. And
We're
came
just
back to
working our way.
We're working
We're
our way
working
down.
our way down the body.
This is a very sex positive stream and town.
Mila kind
Except for
of.
this one teenager.
Yeah, I was gonna say that teenager. The reviews are in for Shall We season 2 and season 1, to be fair. That's a sneak peek at the reviews.
This is a very uncomfortable child.
Very repressed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of. I think the songs get bawdier because they're working like late into the night. So I think the songs start off with being like a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and then get bawdier as the evening goes. So I think that's why these teens are starting to get it, because the songs at the point where they're like allowed to still be up. So the songs are getting less and less innuendo and more just like,
Hardcore.
It's just porn in song form now.
yeah, song porn.
It's instructions. It's like the Kama Sutra.
In song form.
In song form.
I think
I think
Melody
if you
Cog
look-
has to
if-
be leading it.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
of course. Melody
Yeah.
Cog. I also think if you were to look at the sheet music, I think the sheet music looks like people's bodies, or like when
Oh.
you make like boobs out of like
Music notes.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it in chat. I think it's like that, but like
Yeah.
as sheet music. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these songs are in, because we've been talking about this tapestry and how there's like in the margins often like themes of things that are going on that aren't like one for one, like this is what's happening. So maybe some of the songs are, or like the notation for the music are kind of in the margins of this tapestry too. Like for this time.
I
of year.
love that.
I think that's great.
Yeah, when you make boobs out of music.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, with the Y?
Sierra.
Yeah.
Oh,
Excellent.
Yeah, everybody in chat,
Cleavage.
drop your text-based anatomy. However you make boobs or testicles or whatever else out of
Or
parentheses
anything else.
or anything else. Or
Whatever you're into.
whatever. There we go. Okay, yeah, somebody had to do that.
Yeah.
But no balls?
Anytime.
No balls?
No balls?
No balls? No
No
jizz?
tomatoes?
There we go.
One
This
second.
is poison. This
Yeah,
is
you
You
making
think this
the
would be
world-
great for the VOD later?
This is making the world worse, I think.
I'm doing my best. To make the world worse.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, enough laughing and having fun.
Yeah. Now let's get on to the suggestive gourd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the suggestion.
Okay, Gourds,
Contest.
like, squashes could very much be very
There's a
suggestive.
contest for the
Yeah.
most suggestive.
Oh, there
gourd.
has to be a
For sure.
contest.
Yes.
Who has the biggest gourd dick? Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
I love that you added the dick to the end when you could have just stopped at who had the biggest gourd.
No, it has to be specifically. There's a competition for gourd dicks.
And it's a
Excellent.
fashion show, so it is something that you wear like on your body.
Oh.
Like, you
Oh.
fashion it to put, yeah.
What do you call them?
Strap
A merkin?
No. When we're all wearing our full suit of armor, there's a little cup, but it's not called a little cup. It's called something different, and I can't remember what it is.
Oh,
Cod-
Yeah. Cod
cod
piece.
piece,
Thank
yeah.
you.
yeah.
Thank
When
you.
we're
Sid.
all wearing ours.
Yeah.
Our
Wait,
gourd
do you guys not have full piece sets of armor?
No, I'm
honestly
getting it
just
bit at a
relieved.
time, Mila. I've told you this.
Oh, Sakai says gourd piece. It's like Gourd
Yeah,
piece
we
competition.
fucked up. We fucked up.
We did. We
We
did.
didn't say that.
Gourd piece.
I said Gourd piece. I mean, no one listened to me again.
We can't do this again.
This is gonna be the one that you're gaslighting us on.
I'm
I
not.
believe it.
We can't keep doing this.
Oh,
You gotta be louder about your joke.
saying
It's because I'm
things.
not loud.
Last time it
Yeah.
was not about loudness. It was just the way that it was pronounced. We didn't catch the pun.
I didn't really hit the D.
Yeah.
I didn't hit the gourd of it all.
Yeah.
So that's my fault, actually, for every single one of you to step up in a line and invalidate me.
For anyone who missed last episode, there is a clip of this that is edited. I think it's on Twitter. It's on my Twitter. I think it's on TikTok too, where Melanie made a gourd joke, but we didn't. She said gorgeous, but we only heard gorgeous. And so none of us heard it. And then later she called it, she did a callback to it. And all of us were like, oh, you didn't say that. And what I thought had happened was that you had that someone else was talking or something, or like we just didn't hear the joke. But then when you go back and watch it, no one else is talking. We all hear her say it and don't register it as a
Don't
pun.
react in any way.
Don't react
as I'm
at
kind of
all.
laughing to myself.
Well, it's so funny because like I'm showing this up, but I'm working on my Wander Home Victoria puzzle piece for focus.
Uh-huh.
Everyone else is so like I don't even lift my head.
No.
And like everyone else
Don't
is just
even do
kind of
the
like
dignity.
there.
Everyone's just like,
Absolute crickets.
yeah, so it's apparently happened again. So
We'll see.
Oh my god.
Oh.
So we got our gourd pieces on.
we got, yeah,
Making the
people are
gourd
making their gourd pieces.
Which is, I think, is such a fun thing too, because you're trying to build as big as possible, but also your body has to withstand the weight of this gourd to have it on
Yeah.
you. So it's
a balancing act.
It's a dance, yeah.
Mhm.
I think there's a little bit of debate too, because do you go for sheer size or you're trying to make the most realistic? Because sometimes,
Most aesthetically
You go-
pleasing, you know.
right, the prettiest one.
I feel like it would also be very important of what the judges think. I think you would have to I feel like people are going around being like, so who do we think is judging this year? And trying to pick a gourd based on the judges and what they go
Yeah.
for. I think this is actually a very political thing in the community.
Okay,
And
so
then Hidden Valley Ranch.
so the judge is definitely Melody Cock, I think, is usually a judge.
Yes.
As an artist herself.
I think Isabel works her way in on the judging table.
Yes.
I get the vibes from Miss Cox that who we all honor, that she is interested in I feel like she'd go for aesthetic but not realism. So it could be massive and just really kind of ridiculous, but if it's smooth and aesthetically pleasing, I think that I feel like that seems like her vibe to me. I am open for.
What did her voice sound like when you guys did it? Does she have a particular voice?
Just a normal voice. I think I played her, and I think it was just my voice. So it sounded
So it was
I think we see her
lovely,
behind the
beautiful
table and
voice.
she's like, I'm looking for aesthetic and whimsy.
Is this like the reality show?
yeah.
We're going down the line with Simon
Just a
Cowell.
bunch of talking heads. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Weavers is working on documenting who's the judge in that year.
Yeah, yeah. Melanie, were you about to do what Isabel?
No,
sounds like?
I said Simon Cowell and then I gasped because I was like, a cow. He's a cow.
Oh, I think I say owl.
Yeah.
Ow.
Simon Owl, that's better.
Oh, that's better.
I love that. Yes.
That's good. That's also less obvious, which I do like.
Storytelling.
Simon Owl, who is an owl with kind of a strange haircut.
He's a
Could
real
be well, no. I was getting too D&D about it, but I was gonna be like, what if it's like a hybrid? What if like mom's a cow, dad's an owl, and it's a cowl?
I love it.
And I'm like, that sounds like an owl bear, but vegetarian.
Oh, I love it.
How's it vegetarian?
Yeah, I don't know how it's vegetarian.
Oh,
Oh,
it
it eats veggies. I see what you're saying.
It-
But
okay,
owls, but
okay.
owls are not vegetarian.
No, but cows are. And that's just what I prioritize.
And you only get your food habits from one parent. or the other.
All right. We've got three judges. We've got Isabel the horny cat, perfect judge for this. We've got Melody Cock, who despite the name not particularly horny but interested in aesthetics, and then we've got Simon Cowell, who's a vegetarian
Owl.
vegetarian owl. Yeah, the only part of him that is the cow part, doesn't look like a cow at all, is an owl who is vegetarian from on his mother's side.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think three
This
judges
is all
is
checking
good.
out.
Yeah, three judges.
We don't want
is
to
good.
add one more?
Do you have an idea?
No, I just didn't wanted someone else to come up with something.
So I did Google this, and from a website entitled Owls Are Not Pets says there are no vegetarian owls.
Well,
Well,
now
that's
there's-
in the real world. That's not in the Haith.
And then one of the other questions is it non-vegan to use owls in hair water?
It's
I'm
not very
looking
vegan
for
of you.
context. But someone thinks it might not be. And I just think that's really funny.
It is very funny to think of someone's biggest problem with the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah.
Like,
They're really taking advantage of the owls.
actually, the universe is very not vegan.
Not very vegan.
Okay, I'm really happy with the judges that we have created in the studio here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any better ideas than what we've said.
Okay, good. I'm happy.
So, I think, yeah. So we've got this like going late into the night. I think some people probably stay up all night because the planting starts early in the morning. So there's some people who are like, this is 24 hours. I gotta get my gourd piece done, and I've gotta plant my seeds in the morning. So there are a decent number of people who it's like, this is a 24-hour endeavor. Well, no, 48-hour, I guess, endeavor. And as the sun rises in the morning, I think Melody Cock is one of the doesn't stay up the whole time because she has to judge the next day. So wakes up in the morning, of
sharp
course.
mind.
Yeah, wakes everyone up with the rooster crow, as she always does. And I think, what are people wanting to do the next day? Because my impulse is to just kind of have it be that like the next day we kind of like talk about what the town is doing to like finish getting ready and stuff like that, and then have the action kind of happen during the festival. But if other people have other ideas of how they want like this next day to go, we can do whatever.
No,
Are
I
we
think that
taking
sounds
part in any of the things?
Oh, yeah.
Are we making gourd pieces?
good. I think that's individual.
Yeah. Is Giuseppe making a gourd piece?
I need to think about that. Would he?
I feel like he
I-
would. It's
While
very
I
you're
think
thinking about it,
cultural.
Rosemary tries.
Oh.
And it's just for once it doesn't look like genitalia.
No!
Rosemary's like, I can do this easy peasy.
She's like, I don't mean to, but it keeps turning out that way. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Oh no.
No,
Rosemary.
no.
Oh my god. That's such a funny arc. That's so funny.
I think Enki does an amazing job, very accidentally. I think it's more like a way of being like, well, when in Hidden Valley Gardens. Oh, thank you. I'm really stuck on the ranch right now in my head. And Hidden Valley Gardens. I guess I'll give it a shot. And, they're going through and looking for different gourds that I think other people have tossed out. And then there's a bit of a glitter. And they pull it out. They're like, oh, I think this will do. And they managed to make a little bit of like a harness for it. And it turns out shockingly good for a very like, I don't think Enki's like ace, but they're also very much not a sexual being. And so for them to be like really good at it is odd.
Say good. Do you mean huge? Do you mean like
yeah.
What is the good?
I mean huge, realistic, but with enough whimsy and aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
So large, whimsically realistic, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Rosemary
it's just really
like, sees you putting it on and has like his. You don't know what it is because he's just holding sort of an oblong gourd. Oh, Inky, that looks real good.
Thank you, Rosemary. Are you making an ant?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's looking very nice. I'm quite impressed.
Into a big ant. Sort of make a big one.
Excellent. I think that's quite a statement piece for our lovely caravan to look at. I do love art, and when it reflects real life, like being such a realistic statue of an ant, it's very impressive.
I thank you, Enki. Which part do you think is the head?
Oh, this part points to the testicles.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
The only part that I would say doesn't look like an ant is the kind of harness that's on it.
That's just for so I can be working on it. I'll be taking that off right away.
Oh, that's so smart. So you can kind of stick it to yourself and then whittle so you can have both hands free. That's really smart.
That's so smart.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was a good idea. But I'll be taking it right off.
Well, that gives me an idea. Perhaps you could make this for me. A little harness, little book holder, so that I can read while walking and carrying things, I suppose. Instead of carrying it.
I can try. I'm not much of a leather worker, but I can do my best.
Oh, well, that would be lovely, Rosemary. You're so talented. I know sometimes you present us with things and we don't necessarily have the same vision that you do, but you are really quite good. And again, this ant is just turning out incredibly.
That does happen sometimes. Thank you, Enki. That's encouraging.
Are we comparing gourds over here? And you see Giuseppe walk up kind of like his little legs like bowing out, and on the top thigh of one of the legs is not a huge gourd, but it's like when you find a rock and you're like, oh, that's a good rock. He wasn't planning on participating, but just like found this gourd and was like, sure, what the heck? You see it and it's kind of tilting to the side and it's like bigger at the end and stuff, but it's just it just is pleasing to look at. You look at this gourd and you're like, that's a gourd.
I was hoping it would be round and short.
Why is that, Enki?
It would just make me laugh. See, gourds are normally so long that for it to be short, it would just be a very big subversion of expectations.
Oh my gosh. Enki, you're thinking of like a chode on a toad. Is that what you're thinking?
I know this isn't
that would be
I normally
funny.
am. This isn't how I normally am, but went in Hidden Valley Garden. And yes, I was thinking of a chode on a toad.
You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. You heard of Chode on a Toad.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah, I think that's
We
about
were
it.
wrong. We did not peak earlier.
We had so much. There was so much more mountain to climb, and we climbed it.
So much more
I don't know,
Gourd to
it's a
climb.
pretty short hill, I think. I think it's not.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I just had a spat drink all over my keyboard. This is gonna make what I was gonna do a lot less funny, but I'm still gonna do it, which is that it's one of the things that the rebel can always do is ignore or scorn a societal norm. And so I think Maisie obviously has been here for a while because I was talking about the ant, but is like, oh, well, I think you guys might kind of like what I've been working with, and like kind of like has been hiding something behind her back this whole time and brings out, it's not a gourd piece, it's two big tits that strap on the front that are gourds. And is like, I wanted to pay homage to a different part of anatomy. And just these two, but they're weirdly anatomically correct, I think. Like,
Or one's a little bit bigger.
yeah, one's a little bit bigger. They're also like, she somehow found gourds that like the base of it where like not where the stem comes out, but the base like looks very nipple-ish. And so has kind of put them on that way, and it looks, they're kind of veiny. It looks very anatomically correct.
Are these boobs or are these tits? No, that doesn't say that. I just wanted to say it. Just happy voice.
These are breasts.
Ugh.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Okay, I was like, am I just reading this wrong? And then you're like, then you said disgusting. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, these are breasts.
Ugh, awful.
So I think I might win just for being kind of out of the box.
I am sure they've never seen this in this kind of competition before.
I was thinking of doing a vulva, but then I couldn't really figure out how to get a gourd to kind of work in that way, so...
You're thinking in the box, then. And kind of slaps his shoulder.
Yeah, I high-fived Giuseppe.
You were so excited to say that. Also, thank you for using correct terminology.
So I feel so congratulated.
Wow, are we like, wait, hold on. Are we so good at Wanderhome, or what's up?
We're good at something.
I think we may be the best there ever was.
Yeah.
Jay Dragon, I'd like our trophy now.
Step
you can't
down off
sue
your
us.
mountain, J Dragon.
You have to award it.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
They could do both. At the end of the lawsuit, we get the trophy.
They award us
Yeah.
a lawsuit.
I had a Twitter poll earlier because I have some ideas of other limited series I want to do, and so one of the things on the poll was Yuzeba's Bed and Breakfast, and I think anyone who voted for that
That's what I
option
voted.
should be forced to watch this first.
Okay, I voted and I'm in. I'm.
Yeah. So you know what it would be.
I know. Yep.
When is this late at night that we're working on our gourds, or is this during the next day?
I think this is early morning.
Early morning.
That's what I was picturing, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gotta be like right before.
Like the competition's about to happen.
Oh, the competition is like first thing in the day.
Gotta kick things off right.
So before the planting for today, it's like we have this competition. Yeah. And
Priorities.
whoever loses has to wear the gourd piece for the whole day while they're working.
Oh man, there's punishment. It's not just that someone wins.
And no, there's no reward. there's no award for first place.
The reward is that you don't have to wear the gourd piece.
Yeah. The
So as
reward
people
is
trying to make it as heavy as possible to punish everyone else around them.
and themselves, right?
No, because they're hoping that they're gonna win, so they're trying to make theirs as heavy so that like
You
they
just wouldn't
win
have
and the
to-
person has to
Oh,
wear.
I was thinking the person who loses has to wear their own for the whole day. But you're
Oh, I
saying the
was
person who wins, they make the person who loses wear the winners the whole day. And that's the award for them is punishing. Okay, I do like that, yeah. It's a very vindictive piece of world building that I like. It's basically like fantasy football.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah. Great. So I think then the competition, the ceremony or whatever, the award has to happen pretty quickly. Who did any of us stay up all night?
I don't think Giuseppe did.
I don't think Maisie planned to, but I think she couldn't sleep. So I think did stay up all night.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think Enki went to bed. Enki doesn't seem like an up all night kind of little lad.
Rosemary wasn't gonna stress about it. She went to bed.
It's
Maybe
important
should
to
have stayed up
get
all night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Maisie's looking a little manic, I think. It's a little like, okay, the sun's up. It's time for another day.
Oh no.
Another bad day for Maisie.
We should probably get something to eat. Maybe getting some caffeine in you, Maisie.
Yeah,
Rosemary, Enki.
I could go for another coffee.
Another coffee. Okay.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. Haven't you had enough coffee?
I mean, it's a new day, so. And I've got a lot to do, so I'll need to have something. I wonder if there's like some kind of juice that would be stronger than coffee that I could have.
A Red Bull walks by as you say that in the background. If
Maybe that
only.
guy knows.
You hear him being like, gourd juice, gourd juice. Fresh squeezed gourd juice.
I'll take a gourd juice. That sounds good.
Here you go, Missy. He just throws you.
I get splashed.
Gourd juice. As he walks away.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. Like I don't know what that gourd juice has in it, but I'm feeling good.
This place has so many secrets.
All right, let's take our take our things over.
Let's go strut our stuff, eh? I never thought.
I'll be watching you.
What? Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't make one. You just made an ant. That's right. I forgot.
Giuseppe looks down at it and knows what it's supposed to be, but doesn't say anything.
Well, I think when he looks at Rosemary, she's like, "Yeah, it's gotta be an ant." I think I can see the vision now.
It's kind of looking pretty phallic now that you say that, actually.
It's too late. I can't.
Do we think that it's one of those things where it's like one person going at a time, or is it like a bunch of people walking and it's
Ooh.
like in dog shows sometimes where they'll have them all line up and they're like, and they all walk around. They're like, this is my favorite.
I like the dog
I
show
do like that.
vibe.
Yeah.
How are we all presenting? How are we doing our little walks? Sticking my leg out that I haven't strapped to, like leg out.
Oh, I feel like it's like, have you guys seen Arrested Development?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to do everyone's doing the different chickens?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm imagining here.
A
It's a different
lot
kind
of
of cock.
different walks.
Yeah. Maisie's swinging them around.
The tits.
Yeah. I'm doing little like spins.
Are they like clacking together?
Yeah, I think one of them gets a little cracked.
But I call them knockers.
It gets
Oh,
knocked.
no.
Oh, Melanie, that's good.
Knockers.
Knockers.
Taylor, when you were doing this to say spin, I thought you were about to say that you were like, Maisie's like, you can't.
Yeah, I'm going up to people. No. Yeah, I think I'm accidentally like knocking into other people with them a little bit because they're a little unwieldy. Like I'll stop spinning, but they kind of keep going. Not
Oh,
intentionally.
she's gonna get that points knocked off for that.
Yeah. How are the judges reacting?
I think Isabel sees Maisie's and is like, very unphallic, but it is quite ballsy.
Maisie thinks about strapping them down to be balls, but then doesn't do it. Is gonna pick what it is and stick to it. And the nipples wouldn't make sense.
No, you can't have nipples on balls. That's what they always tell me.
You probably shouldn't.
They say it's in the rules.
Yeah. Simon Cowell isn't really saying very much, but just kind of like looking around at everyone and then like writing something down. And I think like kind of like looks the most interested in Enki's. I think like kind of like raises an eyebrow in a good way and writes something down for Enki.
Yeah, I
My
think
Anki strut gets even like more like confident. Oh.
It is very funny to think, like you were saying that Enki's asexual, like, but
No,
there's
I was saying they weren't asexual, but they're also not a very sexual being.
okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely giving me the vibes of like someone who's ace who is also like way into smut. Like so they know a lot about it, but they just
Truly, I love it when just ace people, like my ace friends, are just like, we're going to talk about the Omegaverse. And I'm like, okay. We could not, but okay.
We could not. KNOT. Omegaverse.
Taylor.
Pretty funny joke.
Okay, now I have the concept of Wanderhome smut in my head, and I don't want it.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
There's
I don't
gotta
want
be.
it, though.
There's gotta be.
There has to be.
Nobody look up Roll for Felicity on AO3. Because you won't find anything, that's why. There's nothing
AO3
there.
is solely for Astarion fanfic, so I don't even need to.
Oh
I'm not
my
writing about
god,
Astarion.
what are we
Anyway, we're playing a game, aren't we?
Yeah, I think okay.
Enki.
So, yeah, Enki being a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Melody Cock is like really appreciating just what Giuseppe has going on, being like, yeah, that is a gourd. That is such a gourd right there. It's not going to win any prizes for length or, girth, but that is a gourd. And I appreciate that about it. Will not win.
Will not win. What are some of the other gourds not on our player characters? What do we think the gamut is for these?
Someone has to be dragging something on the ground and totally
Oh,
breaking
yeah.
the rules of.
There's a mole with just the largest gourd you've ever seen. It's
Bigger than a
not
mole.
particularly anatomically correct, but it's a big gourd.
I think you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'll be quick. In Highland games when they have the big timber that they throw. I think the mole has a gourd like that, so it's not touching the ground, but it is they kind of are going back and forth trying to make sure it doesn't fall over.
Yeah.
A mole with the thickest thighs
They have
you've
to
ever
look
seen
around
in your
it.
life.
I have 2 ideas. My first one is I think we haven't seen Greg for a while, but in this walk that we do see him, and I think he has it's so tiny. He's a worm. It's so tiny, but he's wearing it on his back because he has to inch, and so he's just wearing halfway on his body. He just has a really little tiny gourd penis. I think it's well shaped.
There's
I think it's just
whispers,
the tip.
It's not big, but comparatively to the size, it's.
I mean, you know what it is when you're looking at it, so.
You know what it is.
What it is?
It's a good gourd.
Is it a good gourd?
Simon
My
Cowell
other
writes...
idea.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Simon Cowell just writes a note on his score sheet that says it's not all about size and underlines it a bunch of times. Is upset that everyone is constantly talking about the size.
I don't know what gentleman would be doing this, but I think, have you guys seen Art of Priapus?
Seen what?
Art of Priapus.
No.
He is an ancient Greek figure who had a massive dick. And there's a medical condition named after him. And there's art where he would just have it, and it would just be on a wagon, and he'd be carrying the wagon around. And I think someone is doing that.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat. I don't even know how to spell this.
Yeah, how is that spelled? Not to brag,
we
but
all
there's a
gotta
medical
look this up.
condition.
We gotta see.
Put this in the chat quick.
All right, how do we want to determine who wins this?
Oh, you know what? Do you have your tarot deck with you?
Oh, I don't have it
We
on
could
my
pull
desk,
it.
but I can grab it very easily.
I have one within arm's reach.
Oh, then you do it.
Because we could just pull from there and see, based on what the answer is.
Yeah, I like that. I normally do have my tarot card for this, but I haven't been using it, so my tarot card, my single tarot card that I have.
The one tarot card.
The tarot, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, she pulled the penis tarot card. The rarest
I've been
of all.
listening. I've been listening to Spirit Box Radio, which I highly recommend, and I finished. But the cards are unique to specific people, so now I am just you pull out the Priapus card. It's just a big old dick.
Should I try to pull until I get Major Arcana?
You can do whatever you want.
I got the 2 of Swords.
I mean, Swords is pretty
phallic.
Good. Yeah.
What's 2 of Swords? Let me see.
It is phallic. And 2.
I think the Gourd will be Major Arcana.
Okay, so with my deck of the 2 of Swords is Sugar Kelp. Because it comes with flora. It means equilibrium in one's inner and outer self, but with a lack of direction, weakness, and strengths in equal measure. Reverse, be wary of imposters. Balance is tipping away from one's favor, disloyalty. Who do we think that could encompass of the people we talked about? Equilibrium of one's inner and outer self, with a lack of direction.
One of the things I looked up as you were looking at your meaning too, and on Biddy Tarot, it says difficult decisions, weighing up opinions, and impasse or avoidance as well.
I mean,
is what I mean.
Sounds like Maisie a little bit to me.
Oh, I was thinking that it could be like something happens that like a winner isn't decided, or there's like someone cheated, like something happens that's like, because I was thinking like impasse or like weighing decisions being such a big thing of it that like maybe something happens where there isn't a winner, but I'm also fine with it being Maisie. That would be really funny.
Well, I was just thinking in terms, if we're talking about like the balance of inner and outer self and like not being able to move forward and like having like with the stuff with her dad coming down, like that's kind of weighing in. But I'm also fine with it being there. They just can't decide. Maybe there's two winners.
Can't pick this year. There's just
Yeah, Sierra says weigh the gourds, which is interesting. That maybe it's between two and they weigh to see which one's heavier, maybe, and that's the one that wins.
The mole versus Greg.
Yes, they need to weigh them at that point.
Well, I mean, Greg is a god. Stuff can be very dense.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Does Greg cheat?
I feel like if Greg wins, Greg has to win it every year. That just makes in my head that makes sense. I can't really lead you through my process because I don't have one.
No, I get it.
That's just in my heart feels correct.
Yeah, I kind of love that.
Actually. I really like that.
What if that is? What if?
Yeah,
what
go
if
ahead.
that the tiebreaker is weighing it?
Yeah.
So the judges vote, and if there's a tie, they weigh
it. Sequoia, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. A tie is decided by a gourd off. You have to kind of sword fight with them whilst they're strapped on.
That's pretty good too.
I like it.
And I will say it is fun. When I was at the Science Center here, they sell penises they sell stuffies that are penises. I was about to say penises that are stuffed, which has an entirely different meaning.
I would say that is pretty different.
And so me and my sister-in-law got them, and we were just like being 5 years old in a gift shop.
Okay, here's an idea.
Gourd fighting, like sword fighting.
Yeah, gourd fighting, like sword fighting. Okay, here's what I think. For the first tiebreaker is simply weighing them, and everyone's like, this is gonna be easy because I think it is the mole and Greg, and everyone's like, well, obviously Greg's is lighter, but it's all that's a tie. That's also a tie because Greg has used godly powers to make it super dense, even though it's small. But maybe miscalculated or something, thought that he was going to win, but like the moles. So then the second tiebreaker, which has only ever happened once before, is a gourd fight between these two.
We read about it in the tapestry.
Yeah. Somebody has to go to the tapestry and like go way back to be like, we've never like thinking like we've never had two ties before, and like is looking to find, and like 100 years ago there was a
and
tie.
he's like over their shoulder.
Yeah.
So if it's Greg versus this mole, can we have a little soundscape? Zay being the mole, being Greg, of what that sounds like as they're gourd fighting.
I'm worried. Take this.
You're killing him.
Jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Okay, cool.
I have to say then what first of all, Hidden Valley Garden can always describe what we stand in the shadows of, and we are in the shadows of a giant gourd penis. And then I think what happens, the no pun intended, climax of this fight is
Oh no.
is I said no pun intended.
Yeah, right.
The big
You said it
gourd.
first.
No pun.
The big gourd. Can we take this seriously? the
Yeah, can we play Wander Home for like a fucking second, everybody?
Yeah. Can I have my moment, please? For one goddamn second while I describe this. Can I get some respect here? So the sun is coming up. The sun has risen pretty far because there's been all of this contention about this fight and what's been happening. And so a shadow falls across the people watching as the sun goes behind the giant gourd of the mole. And the mole with these thick thighs, but it's still only a little mole, is like trying to fight and trying to position this gourd. And Greg is like sees their chance to like, you know, get in there and like, because even though Greg's gourd is very heavy, Greg's also a god, and so like takes the upper hand. And then we just see the mole kind of like legs start to buckle a little bit, and the gourd comes down on Greg, which we know doesn't kill them out of character, but in character we just see this huge gourd come crashing down on Greg.
Okay. We see this huge gourd come crashing down on Greg. And everyone's silent for what feels like so long. And all of a sudden there's movement. And we see this this big gourd that had fallen over just kind of like shaking as all of a sudden it erupts backwards, sending the mole flying with it in like a very anime kind of
You try to take me down. I will never be defeated. I have the best gourd.
The mole's gourd. The mole's gourd explodes into like pulp.
Oh my
The mole
god.
just sinks to their feet on their huge legs.
They're 5 miles away.
Weeping. And yet they can hear the cheers. Cheers for Greg.
Greg. That's a good place for us to take our break.
I'm sweating. That's what we just created here.
If there was a god, they would not let us come back from break.
Don't say that. My computer is gonna explode.
Oh my god.
Sierra did say "gourd damn," which I think is the only appropriate response to what just happened.
Yeah.
Where's my be right back screen? Where is it? Oh, here we go.
What a good question.
What a gourd question. So we're gonna
I'm
take
so thirsty, literally.
we're gonna take 10 to 15 minutes to take a break, calm down, gather ourselves,
Ground ourselves.
ground ourselves, gourd
Do some
ourselves.
yoga, meditation.
And when we come back, we'll come back with the second half of this game. Oh, I just realized my break screen is not right, so I'll fix that while it's up because that's my only option. So yeah, do you all want to say goodbye for now to chat?
Goodbye for now, chat.
Goodbye for
soon,
now,
chat.
chat.
Oh, you'll be back.
Felicitations, adventures. Welcome to the second half of our Wander Home actual play. Shall we? We left off we've been very mature. We've been very calm and collected.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
mature
think
isn't
we
rated
PG.
M.
answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
I think we answered the question pretty definitively. We shall.
We shall.
We shall.
So it
We
shall
certainly
be.
shall.
We had this, very dramatic Gourd off that ended with a near-death experience, but Greg prevailed as always. And I think we're gonna kind of quickly go through because I think that's like the first part of the activities for the festival, and then we pretty quickly go into like the planting and the things that need to be done for maintaining this garden and getting us set up for the year. So just I think really quickly for each player, like what do you think your character is doing this last workday before the sewing fertility festival?
I think I'm hanging out with the weavers, watching them work. I think they gave me a like little lap loom, just like something like nice and easy for the like that children use. And while they've been working, I've been kind of like beside them. Like they don't have time to like teach me anything, but they were like, here you go. And then I've been like watching them work and like copying them. And so I just have like a little square go or a little rectangle going, making something that I might use as like a handkerchief or like sew it up and use it for like a teapot or something like that. We'll see. But I'm basically just copying what the big kids are doing, despite being a full adult myself.
Is this something that you're doing? Is this like a Enki solo thing, or are some of the school kids there?
I feel like the school kids are slightly bored of this because this is just very much like their normal and like they're probably, but I think they come in, kind of run around. I think some of them might help some of the older weavers who maybe need more nimble fingers but don't want to take away. So if there's a kid who's interested in maybe like being a weaver, they come in and they kind of help with like, stringing their stuff and just if they drop something of like just kind of like getting in there and assisting in that way. So I think they'll pop in and say hi to their mom or bring like a snack for like a parent, and they just like kind of come in, say hi, play around, and then they kind of get shoot out. So I think they're not really there like constantly, but I think it's like rotating like door of kids just kind of popping and participating. My idea is that it's a very like, if you keep the kids away from it, they're not going to know what to do when they're adults and like ready to have a career. So I think the weavers are very like, as long as they're not being horrible, are very content to have like the kids like popping in and hanging out.
Yeah. Nice.
So
I think that Rosemary took Giuseppe's suggestion from the previous day to like try planting a little bit seriously, and so she's out in the fields like actively trying to learn from people and help out as much as he can, which is not a lot, but there's a lot of just like, oh, and how far apart? Okay, so count out a couple paces. just like adding seeds and a lot like a kid, just asking questions. What kind of seeds are these again?
Um, I really like the through line you've had with Rosemary of like trying to create and trying to like do something different. One of the things that Hidden Valley Garden can always do is ask what do you need most right now and give them a token if they can't find it here. What does Rosemary need most right now? Or even to tweak it a little bit, like what is he trying? What is he trying to achieve at like trying all these different crafts and different things that she's been trying to do?
I think she's really looking for something else that gives her a sense of purpose in a way that violence once did and doesn't anymore. And he just wants to find something else that he's good at and like feels useful to do.
And can you find it here?
That's a very good question. Not yet. I don't think. Not right now.
What
You get a
kind of
token.
crops do we think that they are putting in the ground right now? Rosemary asking, like, what are these? Just made me, like, I know from the first stream, Mila, you had said some stuff like, I think beans, I think was something that was said. Tomatoes is definitely something, but they can't actively plant that right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have the gourds, but that's not something they're planting. What's being put in the ground right now?
I'm trying to think of the like plants that normally are planted early in the year, and like I think like lettuce is usually something that you plant pretty early because you can keep cutting it back and like it keeps growing and it grows pretty quickly. So I think that I also kind of like the idea. We haven't really talked about like the structure of like this garden or gardens. And I think there's like different because it's not a farm, right? Like this location isn't a farm. It's not like a super organized like agriculture of like we plant this here and we plant this here and we have these livestock and all these different things. Like garden I feel like makes it feel much more like a community garden where
Mm-hmm.
people like different groups kind of have their own sections. I think Mila even said that during the first stream that like maybe the weavers have like a section that they like kind of plan out, or different families or different groups kind of plan out their sections. So I think there are some people. Oh, Amelia, you said this. I think that the weavers plant things that can be used
For dyes, right?
for dyes and also like flax that can be turned into linen, that kind of stuff. I think there's maybe a like children's garden where it's plants that are very easy to grow and plants that are very like you can plant like hollyhocks and turn them into little hollyhock dolls, or like beans but they're grown on like an archway so that kids can like go through them, and it is kind of teaching the kids of like this is how we like make our lives here. And like cherry tomatoes, maybe that's like a variety of tomato that isn't blighted. But it's like not that sustainable to always like to have for everything, right? Cherry tomatoes, but it's like fun
Yeah.
for kids. Or cucumbers. I'm trying to think of things that you can just pick and eat like right off of the vine that kids that kids would like to grow. So yeah, I think that's a section.
I think for the weavers, they have a lot of beets. Um, and I think they also have items that have like very kind of like specific shapes to use as like decorative things because I don't know. I part of the camp that I'm doing this year out of game is we're doing flower pounding. So you literally take a hammer and like a leaf or a flower, and you just hit it with a hammer. Very fun, and it transfers onto the fabric. So I think they might also use that as like part of like decorations for their clothing. So maybe they have like ferns or items that have like the different stuff like that. And they also have like this isn't going to make any kind of sense in like real life like planning, but I don't care. So I think they have some rhubarb. I think they might grow like some like walnuts. Um, I think like beets, like red cabbage. I think they grow some rosemary for the dyeing, and just a lot of stuff that's like helpful. But some of it is also just like for like beauty's sake. So I think they're starting to kind of plant some of that, and they have it like very like well mixed in their area where there's like tall things, and then like it's like a bit of a jungle going through there, but they're just kind of like, okay, how much sty can we get in here? Because especially when it like you make it and so much, it goes from like this to like,
Yeah.
So I think they use as much space as they can without overshadowing it, and I think it looks really chaotic, but it's actually like their space is so well planned out because they need to fit as much as they can. So it has this like weird like dichotomy of being like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's not planned at all, and then you like look at the specs and it's like, oh no, they know exactly what they're doing.
The plants work really well with each other and they bloom at different times. And yeah. I think if we're looking at stuff used for dyeing, I think we're going to see marigolds. I think we're going to see, I think we're also going to see sunflowers. And I think that probably Craig is there trying to find the perfect places for the sunflowers. I think Giuseppe's trying to help out with that too, but he is literally just grabbing a thing full of sunflower seeds and then just shaking them everywhere. Because one thing that I can always do is scatter the seeds. And that is the best way to get sunflowers literally everywhere, is just to go like a maniac.
Yeah.
Something interesting that is kind of like, I don't know, kind of like fortuitous of what you said is that a lot of times when you're planting, you'll plant tomatoes and marigolds together because marigolds will drive away like pests and stuff like that. So maybe part of the reason why the tomatoes haven't been blooming very well is because June, July has like forgotten kind of importantly, which is something they can always do, that like they're like, oh, we'll plant the marigolds, like we'll take that over in our section, and forgotten that some marigolds
They
need to be
near each other.
planted near tomatoes to like have that, because they work together. I think that's fun.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any ideas of what other garden sections there would be, or what other things are being planted?
I feel like there's got to be some hardy vegetables for like
Uh-oh, we're losing them.
they grow the garden for a number of reasons, but one of them obviously. Do you have me?
You're back now.
You're back now, but you were
Back. Okay.
It did look like you were just like thinking for a moment, like too long.
Oh, see, you all never cut out of my end, so.
Oh no.
Well, that's handy because you know.
Yeah. I was saying I think they're growing something hardy so that they have like plenty of food, something good to eat. So I think there's some like turnips, radishes, things like that can be planted early that are going to be like very hardy in the years they can get it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think Maisie is also like working on planting maybe some of the hardier stuff, I think, is because like concerned about like sustainability and that kind of thing. So like kind of wants to be planting with the kids in the kids garden, but is like, no, I need to like I need to buckle down and work on something that's not as fun, but is pretty tired. So it's kind of just like, like I think carrots are a plant that like have really, really tiny seeds, so you do kind of just like sprinkle them. So maybe is like doing that because it's like very methodical and you don't have to like dig first, but you're just kind of like, okay, sprinkling carrots seeds very slowly. Did we say, I don't think we, Rosemary, I don't think you've said what Rosemary's been doing during the day.
Rosemary said she was out planting.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're all out planting. Um, so you're muted, Melanie, by the way.
Thank you. Was Enki planting?
Anki was not planting,
Weaving.
no. Yeah, weaving, sorry. Mila described all of the weaving plants so well that I forgot it wasn't it wasn't Anki who was planting those. Go ahead, Mel.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, Giuseppe's out there putting his back into it. I also don't know if I've described like I realized I had an image of Giuseppe that I hadn't described everybody, which is like just covered in warts in the way that like when you see a very Italian broad-shouldered man take off his like shirt and you're like, that's a lot of hair. I think that you see that's what Giuseppe looks like, but with warts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of warts.
Whoa.
Just a toad.
Was I too loud, or was that in reaction to what I was saying? Okay. Now I'm stressed.
Yeah, I think the day kind of goes by. It's that mixture of like when you're super busy and like it feels like the day's going by super slowly, but also somehow too fast. Like when you're working on something, you're like, oh, I've been doing this forever, but it's like 2 minutes. But then it's also by the end of the day, you're like, oh, wow, that was kind of like wild to look back on.
Where'd the time go?
Yeah. Because it's so like the same thing that your mind kind of compresses it into like, oh yeah, it was it was not that long. And none of us have been working on this, but the town, other people in the town who are not planting, or maybe there's shifts where they're like doing this. The corn woman is really coming together.
I heard the porn woman, and I was like, the who?
Stop mishearing things about the corn woman, everyone.
No. And you can't make me.
We'll have to hear things perfectly about the corn woman.
Everyone here perfectly.
I wish I could, Taylor. I wish I could.
Yeah, I think we're all working really hard throughout the day. We like are, zoning out in our own different ways, sweating, putting our back into this work. Some of us are, just doing a little loom work and not actually helping out with like the rest of the.
Wow.
When you need a scarf, come winter. I'm not making you one.
We're all doing our different things. And it becomes dusk. And as it becomes dusk, we start noticing that everyone in the town is kind of putting away their rakes and hoes and stuff. And everyone's heading towards where the corn woman is, I think. And so it's a kind of that cool, like just on the edge of summer, springtime, where it's like dusk and the light's just going down and we're heading over to the corn woman.
Yeah. I think there's a song, like the wrapping up song. It is a work song, but the tempo's a little slower and it's still got that rhythm to it of like people working together and being like, the humming of the looms and all of that stuff, but it's a little bit slower and kind of getting everyone to slow down in their work. And I also think maybe some of us could notice this. I don't think Maisie would, but the planting is done, I think. This is like the last day of the planting. So a lot of the areas, like people are just kind of filling in the last part of it or getting, um, I don't think it would be mulch, but maybe like mixing in some other like fertilizers and different things like that that you do once the planting is actually done and like some watering and things like that. Um, and the song is kind of more of a slowing down kind of song as like the stragglers of people who still have like a few things, just a few things they need to do to finish up their sections. Um, and how tall do we think this corn woman is?
So tall.
Massive.
Yeah, just huge.
She big.
Good.
She's like
Good.
so
Giant woman. Giant woman.
yeah.
Cool.
It's scary how big this woman is, I think.
Yeah. Especially when somebody starts the fire.
Yeah.
Because this
I think
is a
we're all
huge
kind of
fire.
gathered around. There's like everyone from the town is there. We see that little rabbit from last time on like the back on their papa's shoulders, and it's just like every year one person has to join the corn woman in a fiery blaze. And the dad's like, no, they don't. Stop telling me.
I read it in a book called Midsummer.
I hope there's some year that it's me.
I hope it's you too.
Oh, they're two rabbit twins on their dad's shoulder.
Yeah.
You've gotta just.
I want my own
I
room.
don't want to hear any more about this.
But it's a great honor.
So's living.
It's a win-win. They get to go up in a fiery blaze, and I get my own bedroom.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. No
it's a
lose.
win-win.
No lose.
And what about your father and I?
You tell me. We look the same.
You can go to next to you.
Oh. Yeah. Then I can have your room too.
No, none of us are going up. No one's going up in a fiery blaze.
White, it has to be a visitor to the town.
We don't do that.
Maybe
It has to be one of you when she turns and points to us.
This is right next. Yeah.
When we're older, we can go and visit another town, and
I assure you, no one.
they can send us up in a fiery blaze.
It's
It's all fiery blaze.
fiery blaze.
I assure you, travelers, that we do not send anyone up in a fiery blaze. They
They're
don't
lying.
know where they've heard these stories.
Who are the kids pointing at?
I think it's all of us just
Oh,
our little group. They're
A general you.
all of you.
They're
In a
lying.
fiery blaze.
They just want to lull you into a false sense of security.
They're lying to you.
Don't trust our parent. Sometimes they'll tell you there's no
We don't-
carrots,
Okay,
but there
honey.
are carrots.
All right, it's bedtime for both of you. Well,
No,
if you
I want
can't
to see
stop
Big Lady.
staring the travelers,
The dad
Then
starts
it's-
walking off
then it's going to be time.
with the two of them on the shoulder. Okay.
Fine, I'll
I
stop
told you if you
scaring
couldn't
them.
behave, you wouldn't get to see the
No, I'll stop scaring. I'll
baby
stop
set on
scaring.
fire.
I'll stop scaring them.
Fiery blaze.
It's time for bed.
As we walk away, I turn and look back at them. Ugh.
That's not even
annoying,
part of
right?
it. That she's turned on. She's lit on fire. She's not like.
Hmm.
Well,
So let's do our plugs.
That's it. The kids threatened to burn us.
So who do you think lights the fire? Is it something where it's like multi-point lights,
Ooh.
or is there someone who has like the honor of doing this?
The biggest gourd.
Oh, maybe that's their
Oh.
prize. Yeah.
Greg,
So Greg.
Greg inches up to it with like the tiniest little like torch, and
He
like
has like a match that's like the same size as him.
mhm, touches it to the to the corn woman, and just immediately just. And what does Greg sound like when that happens in like his face?
And now we set to place the giant woman. Giant woman. My eyebrows.
Oh no!
And now you're not sure if he had eyebrows before.
Hold on, let's just look at the little guy.
You think about it and you're like, did he have eyebrows? I'm not sure.
It's a good goof.
I don't.
And unfortunately, I think when the blaze goes up, it illuminates something kind of gathering to this location, which is the king, Maisie's father, and some some of the king's attendants, some of the king's retinue. How many people do we think there are altogether?
I'm not sure, but I think as it goes up and they're eliminated, I think you hear, "We should have warned the travelers. It's the shadow monsters. This is our fault."
And now we'll all perish.
No one is perishing tonight.
Explain the shadow monsters.
Or ever.
They're coming for us. Also, what about
There's
Grandpa?
no
Grandpa
monsters.
perished.
Your grandfather passed away.
Yeah, perished.
I wouldn't describe it as
He perished.
perishing.
Oh, well, did you see him?
He was pretty perished to me.
This is a very disrespectful way to speak about your grandfather.
Well, he can't hear us.
He was, Papa, he was dead.
And sometimes
Oh no.
they had to linger on with us.
You are cutting in and out again, Say. At least for me, you
You
are.
never know who could be listening.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're shadow monsters, right?
This rabbit turns to their sibling, and
There's no monster.
the rabbit turns to their sibling and is like, they will listen. They could have heard us when we were saying fuck. And then when you said
Oh,
goddamn,
Shit, I think they heard us.
fuck.
God damn it.
Oh no.
Shit stick.
To your question, Taylor, about like, how big we think the retinue is, I was kind of thinking that it was pretty small.
Okay.
Like and obviously it doesn't have to be this way. It could be much bigger. But what my thinking of this was, if we're talking about like the king being dead,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we can get to it in story, but we kind of talked about like it possibly being your dad being the one who killed him.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have a lot of like servants and stuff around. He's probably keeping it pretty low key, where it's just like him and the king. Maybe like one trusted servant. I don't know.
Dibs on the
Maybe
servant.
a couple.
Yeah.
I think like a small amount is like, I was kind of envisioning them come in the middle and then like 4 or 5 like people kind of beside them, which would look very unsettling in the dark of just like being illuminated, but like pretty like sparse.
And question, I think, is it immediately obvious that the king is a ghost? Do we think?
Probably not immediately. I mean, it's very low visibility. Late at night, and then the only light is the fire. I guess it is a pretty big fire. We said she was huge, and she's immediately ablaze. So I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of like an opalescence to him that we think that maybe it's just like the low lights playing a trick on our eyes, but like there's something off.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Also, a note for people watching: they they had to turn their camera off because the internet was not cooperating. So I think they're still here, just not visible.
Here.
Oh, still cutting out for me.
That's so strange. It was going so well.
It was going so well for so long.
If it's gonna break up either way, you might as well have your camera on.
Just so it can freeze unexpectedly on you. I'm sure you would enjoy that.
I think we see a little like maybe a little squirrel. No, not a squirrel. Not a squirrel. A chipmunk.
Okay.
You see a little chipmunk in like a velvet doublet come out in front and is like, "Hear ye, hear ye. The king has arrived." And like does a little bow. It's like, and then there's a long like red velvet walkway that's like spooled out in front.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hello, my loyal subjects. Your large bosomed lady is decadent in the fiery blaze. Excellent craftsmanship.
We hear like worried whispering among the townspeople. Oh, the king, what's he doing here? The king.
Oh, I hear you're so excited to see me. Excellent. I'm so excited to see you too. I've missed you all deeply in a very vague way because I can't possibly know all your names. So please don't expect that.
Is this King Greg? This king sounds exactly like Greg. This is King Greg?
King Freg.
Freg!
There's already a Greg and a Greg.
Yeah, so obviously.
I'm putting my foot down.
It's Charles Windsor.
Hello. I am your wise and gracious King, Charles.
Charles is
no
fine.
affiliations to anyone else.
Charlie, Chuck.
Oh, do not call me Charlie. I am Charles. It's a very manly name.
Quite manly, your liege.
Thank you. This is why you are my favorite servant.
The king, I don't think we've described it in this stream. I think we've mentioned it in previous streams. The king is a stoat. We know the king is kind of opalescent looking, because the king is also a ghost. Is there, what is the king wearing? Like, what is royal regalia for this king?
So, my idea is that I look like King John from Disney's Robin Hood.
Yes.
But a stoat.
But a stoat.
Thank you.
A stoat.
With big rings on your fingers?
I think really big rings, and like instead of things like falling off, it's like all-encompassing me, where like
Yes.
it's just this little voice coming from like fabric and like a little nose peeking out.
Okay, sorry, time out above the table. Did anyone else have a formative moment with those rings where anytime you pretend to kiss someone's hand, you pretend to also suck off rings off their knuckles? Because I always do that.
I love that. I do have a follow-up question about how often you kiss people's hands.
If you think I'm not tenderly holding my partner's hand often and giving it little
and
kisses,
thinking about sucking off their rings.
and then I pretend to suck rings off their knuckles, yeah.
Okay.
I'm screaming about this right now. They could probably hear me.
Excellent.
And they already know about it.
They already know.
Yeah. My King John story from Disney's Robin Hood is that he kidnapped my brother once.
What?
What are you talking about?
I'm like not like I'm being hyperbolic, but I'm also not joking. We went to Disney World when I was like 10 and my brother was like 8, and my brother was a really quiet kid. So I am a little bit glad that we did have this like run in. But what happened was, because we learned how he would react to being kidnapped. So what happened was we were walking through Magic Kingdom and we lose him, and we're walking and we're looking around, and then we see King John, like whoever's in the King John costume, just walking away, and there's just 2 little feet walking beside him. And we're like, Michael, come back. So my parents are freaking out. This is a very different time because I do not think you could have gotten away with this now. But yeah, so he's just walking away, and there's just this little boy with his little feet just walking beside him. Michael said nothing. He didn't yell. He didn't say what. He didn't try to get out from under the cloak. He just walked along with this cougar.
Your brother was sucked into the robe.
He had a plan. He was gonna Robin Hood it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, so King John kidnapped my brother, and then as an adult, Michael got they blocked. What are those little sand guys from Star Wars?
Oh, Jawa?
Yeah,
That's
it was
right
little Jawa who wouldn't let him. They pushed him to an alcove and wouldn't let him through until we traded him for bobby pins. He gets ransomed at Disneyland a lot.
It's an immersive
Anyway.
experience.
Oh my gosh.
That's what they needed with the Star Cruiser.
Yeah. They needed to be kidnapping more people.
Yeah.
Get Jenny on the phone. Okay.
I distracted us from
little
doing game stuff.
Stoat nose. Lots of like rings. Every time he moves his hands, there's a lot of tinkling of like just stones touching each other.
The amount of light that's bouncing off of him from this corn woman who's ablaze, just like
Yes.
so shiny.
And then he moves his hand, and it's like a. What was Macy's dad's name?
Thaniel Hawthorne.
Daniel.
Do I have it in me to be a stern dad right now?
Daniel.
I can take it.
Daniel, please, where are you?
I can't be Thaniel because I'll be in too many scenes with myself.
Right here, Your Majesty.
You know when I call you, you need to be on it. What is this?
Yes, Your Majesty. I am working on my listening.
Oh, don't hand me things. I don't accept handed things from lower than me. Yes. Hello, welcome all. I mean, I'm welcome to you, for this is it's my land, but you do live here, don't you? Well, I came down to see what was happening and also to look at my beautiful tomatoes.
Maisie definitely has pulled a kind of cloak or something up over it. Thaniel looks so much like her. Like they're both Jack Russell Terriers. I think they both have similar coloring. So really is like it's like maybe even people looking at Thaniel are like, that looks like that other dog who's been here. They look very similar.
Doesn't that look like that dog that was
Remind
just
me,
over
did
there?
Maisie-
Another Jack Russell Terrier.
What a coinky dink.
Look, it would be impolite to point. As I
It's
said,
impolite to point at that person over there who
Why?
looks
Yeah,
just like
it's
that person over there.
You wouldn't know who I was
very
talking about if I wasn't pointing at this one and that one over there.
I have eyes.
Well, we're not just talking to you. There's other people too.
Maisie's
And they-
trying
it
to.
would be very
You know,
rude.
as our parent, you're very understanding of us, but other people aren't.
Right.
And we need to make sure that other people around us who are eavesdropping can understand what we're saying too.
It's important. It's important for the eavesdroppers.
It is. See, that's the problem
Yes.
with people when they're talking, is when we eavesdrop, it's too hard to follow the conversation.
Remember how we talked about waiting your turn to speak?
Yes?
This is one of those times.
But no one
So
else
we
is
should be
talking.
waiting for our turn to speak. I think the king is speaking, and we should maybe let him speak.
Oh, my beautiful tomatoes. Daniel, please lift up this tomato. Tomato, sorry. I wish to see underneath. Oh,
yes,
very
Your
firm.
Majesty.
Very firm. Excellent. Just how I like my tomatoes.
Like,
Perfect.
Quite
picked it
No,
so that now
no,
just held it
you just,
up.
lifted
Yeah,
up
just lifted it up.
yeah, like the plant and
It's heavy on the
vine.
vine, yeah.
Yeah, lift up the vine so we can see underneath the vine.
All your tomatoes pristine and untouched, my liege.
They are not. This plant is missing one, and this plant is missing one, and there is a foot in the mud. My mud was perfect. Who stepped foot in my mud?
I think one of the servants has some sort of like handheld device with like a crank that they start turning, and it just starts doing like a siren sound.
Yes. Excellent. I think the king pulls out a little ghostly coin and flips it, but as it gets far enough away, it just turns into nothing. But it's the thought that counts, I guess.
To who?
To the one doing the siren of saying, "Yes, you understand. Well done."
They just sort of flinch as they know
Excellent-
that it's not real
Excellent
money.
job, Siren Boy. Thank you. Now present your feet.
You see the townspeople being like, "Not this again."
Present your feet. It's not weird this time. I need to see if there's mud on them.
I only
You
made
heard
a joke earlier.
His Majesty. You heard him. Everyone.
I think, does this count as the
Feet.
king? The king can make a decree or something, and people have
Yeah.
to spend a token.
Make a sweeping proclamation.
I
Yeah.
declare feet time now.
Oh wait. Well, I think I
Once
did
again,
before
it is
the-
feet time.
Bring out the foot bench. And I think the foot bench is like a little like footstool, but I think it's like 4 different sizes. So there's like a tall, a medium, a smaller medium, and like a small for all the different like animals, so that they can put their feet on it.
And they're all gold.
They're all gold.
I forgot to paste part of this into our shared document. So I was like, one of these you have to spend a token. Make a one of the things the king can do is make a sweeping proclamation. If somebody wants to openly defy you, they're going to need to spend a token. So
Seems like Macy might be trying to defy this.
I mean, I don't have muddy feet, but I also don't really want to do this. But I also don't want my dad to know that I'm here. So I think I'm actually I don't know how exactly this would work because I think Maisie is not trying to openly defy the proclamation, but is running away. I think is like trying to just, even though like she's like I should like lead a kind of like thing of like we don't need to listen to this king, is so scared of her father seeing her that she's trying to just hide and like get out of here.
I think that would count as you define it and that you're not going, like, you're not following it. Not necessarily that you're, like, putting up a fight to lead people against it, but, like...
Yeah. Okay.
I would
I
agree
do
with
have
that.
I have a
Yeah.
token to spend, so I can do that.
Yeah, tokens just spend.
I don't think I've ever spent a token in this session. I think next session is just going to be figure out ways to spend a token. See,
do you want a reminder on what you can spend tokens
season.
on?
You know what?
Because I got the list right in front of my
I
freaking
would
face.
love that. That would be great.
Oops, I lost my earbud.
Well, don't do that.
Oops.
Oops.
Yeah, so you can spend
Oops.
a token to provide a solution for an aspect of a material or immediate problem, to ease someone's pain, if only for a moment, to keep someone safe from the difficulties of the world, to offer someone the chance to connect with you on a personal level, find what someone needs to give them a chance to change fundamentally, reveal something hidden about the person in front of you and ask them what it is, know something important about the place you're in and tell the table about it, and listen to the shared wisdom of the small and forgotten gods and ask the table what they tell you.
Greg, what is your wisdom? Plant veggies. You get that one for free. Yeah, I think
Benevolent Greg.
I think Enki is going along with it because Enki doesn't really have a reason to say no, and if other people are doing it, it's kind of like, it's not that when he jump off a cliff, but it is like, well, I am an anthropologist a little bit.
Will Giuseppe go along with this, knowing that he is the one who did this? And I mean, he's always covered in dirt. So, like, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, he might try to skirt. I'm gonna spend a token and try to skirt away with Maisie.
I think if I'm gonna slightly change. I think Enki is like, I don't love this, but okay. But I think seeing like their friends like moving off, I think Enki will also go along. Just because I do trust you all.
You know what? I'm gonna kind of go back on what I just said, but only like slightly. I think what I'm gonna try to, like, I'm gonna start to go away with Maisie being like, well, obviously I did this and like I don't want to get messed up in this. But I think as everyone else is lining up, we hear the king being like, and whoever it is will be severely punished. And if I can't find them, then you all will be punished. I think Giuseppe's just kind of like, oh, geez, well. I mean, I don't...
Can I also add that I think that it is very clearly a toad footprint, and I think he might be the only toad in town.
Yeah.
And he's still asking to see everyone's feet.
Oh, yeah.
Very obvious.
How am I to know what kind of kit this is?
I think
What if
Giuseppe...
toes? It's possible, Daniel.
I think Giuseppe kind of like takes Maisie's shoulders like, hey kid, I mean, you should probably get out of here. I gotta go back. You get as far away from here as you need to, okay?
And he's like, "Oh, are we not leaving?"
Oh, you too, Anki.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully I'll see I'll see y'all around. Kind of pats his like thighs and turns back and like kind of steps in front of like everybody who's lining up to get their feet looked at. It's like, well, you caught me. It was me. You got these beautiful tomatoes, and I just couldn't help myself. I'm real sorry about it, your kinglyship.
Do you not see the sign? And there's like a giant like billboard of a sign. Do not take the king's heirloom tomatoes under penalty of punishment. And then in brackets it says, up to the discretion of the king or those acting as the king.
Oh gosh. I guess
Acting on behalf of the king, I misspoke. I am the only king.
I guess I must have missed that big sign there. You know, I'm just a traveler passing through, so I really wasn't sure about the customs of the area. Did you know that there's a tomato blight actually that's been going on in the area?
Well, that's even worse that you touched them. What if you contaminated them with the blight?
Well, I don't think so. I hadn't touched any blighted tomatoes.
Well, I cannot know that.
Do you?
And also,
I'm sorry. Do you eat these tomatoes?
Do I eat my heirloom tomatoes? Do you eat gold? Of course, I do not eat my heirloom tomatoes. They're here so that I know they're here, and when I remember they exist, I can come and see them. What is the point of eating a tomato?
Seems like a real waste.
Is spending gold a waste?
Something that I can do since the last time we played, like the first season of Shall We, that I've added now is I can always listen to the story of someone who I've never met before. And this is the first time I'm meeting the king. Can you give me a little tomato story? Why is it important?
This whole stream.
Let me monologue. These tomatoes were passed on. They're called heirloom tomatoes because I am an heir, as I am king, and that is how these usually work. And then a loom, because this is a weaving place, apparently. I don't know. So they're called the heirloom tomatoes. And they were my great, 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 great grandfathers. And he planted them here. And he said, wow, so beautiful. But then he took a bite of one and he went, patooey, because it was so disgusting that he could not stomach the taste of these tomatoes. And that was the last time anyone should have eaten these tomatoes, because we learned from great old grandpappy that tomatoes are not for eating. Tomatoes are for looking beautiful and being an asset. It's like buying property when you don't live there. It's just to show off and make sure other people don't have it.
I think Giuseppe kind of like furrows his brow at like hearing this story, like was hoping to hear, a touching story about what these tomatoes mean to this fucker. And and it's just like, oh yeah, it's just so I can have them and no one else can.
Yeah. Scarcity is wealth, or whatever those economists say.
So you think that tomatoes aren't worth eating then?
No, great grandpapa said that they were yucky. And I don't know if you heard, but he went patooey, and he did not care to eat them.
Yeah, I heard you.
And are you saying my great grandpapa was wrong? Misguided? No, he was king. You cannot be misguided or wrong if you are the king. Everyone my entire life has told me how correct I am.
So you've never tried one of these tomatoes?
Are you trying to discount my great
No, Your
grandpapa?
Excellency, no.
Then of course I am
But
not.
are you not king now?
I am. You are correct.
So-
Was it my lovely crown that gave it away?
I mean, all the finger jewels too.
Clink, 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 clink.
What if you tried one of these tomatoes? What if you tried one of these tomatoes and you saw how good they could actually be? Are you a betting man, Your Excellency?
Am I a betting man? Yes.
Well, how about this? How about you let me take one of these tomatoes here, and you let me try to make you something. And if you say patooey after eating it, I will take my punishment willingly. I will oh gosh, how can I sweeten the deal? I'll be your royal arborist. I'll come to your summer home and I'll work for you for a whole year. How about that? But if you enjoy this tomato, you have to agree to let this town have access to them for food reasons and planting reasons and any other thing that they need them for.
I can't say no to a bet. Yes, sir.
A dirty handshake.
Daniel! No! My beautiful sofa. Sainted since my grandpuppy rid our castle of the rabbits. Remove. I kind of want the heirloom tomatoes to just taste bad.
Really?
Like a little bit of it is that I
Yeah.
kind of just want them to just be like they weren't grown to be good. They were grown to look nice.
They were grown
just,
to be big
full of
and
water.
yeah.
and tasteless.
Oh no.
But if they're tasteless, you can add flavor to them and use them.
I want to point out a potential wrinkle in this, though, is in that can the king eat?
Yeah.
True. It's true.
Because he is dead. So can he even eat and taste them?
I bet he. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
No, you're the king.
Okay. I was gonna say, what if he's embarrassed and in denial and embarrassed about the fact that he can't eat? And he's just
So even though it's gross, he pretends that he can eat it.
Yes. And I think if other people around him eat it and are like, "Oh, I love this," then he would be like,
Emperor's New
"Oh,
Clothes.
well, yes, yeah, fully Emperor's New Tomatoes."
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're old tomatoes.
They are.
The Emperor's old tomatoes.
I think that Giuseppe's able to make them pretty good. I mean, the tomato part isn't the best, but you salt them and pepper them, and you get some good bugging. A little bit of mayo in there.
Ooh.
Lettuce? Yeah. I think he makes a full sandwich for the king and then makes little smaller sandwiches for the people around.
Mm.
And then like hands them to people and be like, this is the best sandwich of your life, okay? Telling the kids.
I think, yeah, best sandwich.
I've had a good sandwich, so I'll be the judge of that.
It better be your best sandwich ever.
The best sandwich you ever had.
Best sandwich you ever had. I think these bunny children look like Kiko, whenever I have my rabbits, where it's just pure black with a slightly gray like mane, but like very like threatening. And I think Kiko has brown eyes, but I think they have the red eye that some of the rabbits get.
Terrifying.
Usually that's like just white rabbits, but I think these ones should have it. And I think they were just set up to look like if Aubrey Plaza had a twin.
Who was a rabbit?
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza wasn't, but the rabbit was.
But these are twin rabbits, right?
But I think that this is. Are we sure it's not a Stuart Little situation?
Like Aubrey Plaza.
No, I don't want it to be.
Aubrey Plaza.
X to that.
X to that. X to that. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so twin rabbits.
Twin rabbits.
I don't want it to be a human that just looks like a thing. I think that sucks.
I meant the movie Stuart Little, not the book.
No, that is
Stuart Little.
The book Stuart Little.
In the movie, he's just a mouse. In the book, he's a weird.
He is a human boy
freak.
who looks like a mouse.
Not that we don't do that. We're just
That's what I'm
talking
saying.
the movie. In the movie, he's just a mouse that somehow ends up in a human orphanage. I don't question these things. Oh my god. Okay, what were we doing? Oh yeah.
We're all eating sandwiches.
All eating sandwiches. Yes. Daniel, please prepare my sandwich.
Yes, my liege.
Sandwich, please.
Here
Sorry,
you
doesn't say
go.
please. Sandwich.
No. The crust taken off, sir.
Of course, the crust taken off. Daniel, how do you even have to ask? Oh, this is what I've been down to since the rebellion, living in a summer castle throughout the winter,
triangles.
being asked if I want my crest cut off, and obviously I do. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Daniel is
I do.
carefully cutting
Thank you,
the
Daniel,
crust
for
off
acknowledging
into
that.
the little triangles and handing
Beautiful,
it over.
Daniel. You are quite good at that. Yes,
I
okay,
have
now,
skills.
I don't think he can hold a sandwich. Please? Nom. Daniel, nom.
Zay's internet keeps going out at times, and it really makes it seem like they're logging out of the call.
Daniel's out.
And on the stream right now, it says, Zay said, "Are you high?"
Are you high, Your Majesty?
Are you high?
Are you high?
Are you just absolutely out there?
Oh my god.
It says, "Are you high? Are you high, Your Majesty? Are you high?"
If you keep reading it, it's gonna keep saying that.
Stop.
That
Well,
is
not
what it
really
says now.
that part.
I have such an important question for, I guess, everyone, maybe mostly Mila, since they've been playing the king. Does the king know that Thaniel killed him? Because it doesn't seem like he does, based on this interaction.
I don't think the king... I thought when we discussed it, the king doesn't know that he's dead.
Yeah, the king doesn't know that he's
Oh, okay, the king doesn't know he's dead. All right.
Yeah, but I think he's aware that like he can't do some things anymore, like eat. And
There's
it's
some
just
real cognitive dissonance going
Really
there.
going through the
Yeah.
motions, being like, just totally normal, a totally normal king, and nothing's wrong.
this is just how kings eat. Now, Daniel,
Kings can all kings can float through walls. It's normal.
It's
it's
noblesse oblige.
normal.
It's my divine right given to me through the gods.
Yes. My pupa, said Pope,
Pupa? Oh.
has declared this perfectly fine and normal.
So the Pope is livestock, is what you're implying, right? Pupa in this world?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a baby insect.
You
Gross.
understand.
Who
You're
better?
asking like
Just
you don't
like
see
the
where I'm
real
coming
Pope.
from.
Okay.
Just like him.
A beautiful butterfly.
Beautiful.
So we see
Just
Thaniel
like June, July.
hand feeding a big, beautiful butterfly. No.
No. I cannot remember, and I just started.
So funny.
Okay. So, yes. Nom.
Going back for
Yeah.
seconds.
So, I would like to ask, where is Maisie right now? Can Maisie see that her father is
Oh.
currently hand feeding a king at his command when he says om nom? And how does that make Maisie feel if Maisie
Yeah.
can't see that?
I don't
Yeah.
think Maisie can. I think because she would immediately not be afraid of him anymore if she saw that this was happening. So did Enki continue to run away? I'll ask that before I answer your question in full.
Yeah, I think Enki went with I have given away my token, and I think Enki went with Maisie.
Did Rosemary also run away?
Ro-
Or is Rosemary in the crowd?
Rosemary is in the
Okay.
when they split, she felt like she had
Yeah.
to pick who to protect.
Yeah. That makes sense. So I think Maisie, when Giuseppe had the thing of like, I'm gonna go, you need to like run away, I think it was a very like fight, flight, freeze reaction from Maisie, where she didn't even really know what to say. Like she could feel that leaving was really the wrong thing to do and not really what she wanted to do, but is really afraid of her dad, is embarrassed that she's afraid of her dad, and thinks that like it feels very hypocritical right now because she's like, I said that I would stay and fight, and I like was trying to convince Rosemary to like kill this king, and then when the king actually shows up, I just run away. But like it's the thing of she's thinking that, but she's still leaving. So I think is like maybe we had to like kind of like crouch down and like get out between like some of the garden like things that were being built, like some of the like I don't know, there's probably like deep beds and stuff like that that like Maisie was kind of like hiding behind to get away, and then once we were like a little bit away it just kind of started running. And I don't think is like looking behind to see if Enki is keeping up. I think it is just so scared that she's just taking off, but doesn't feel good about it at all.
I think Enki is able to keep up, and I do think that is Maisie going to keep running, or is Maisie going to kind of like slow down eventually?
I think she's gonna keep running. I think even though she's tired, she's been up for like all this time, but it's just she's pushing herself. So I think she starts to slow down, not intentionally. I think it's just she starts to not be able to run as fast, so she's like panting, but like is still pushing forward even when we're like probably out of sight. Like we can distantly see the glow of the bonfire. Like we clearly don't really need to be running anymore. But Maisie is like literally like running herself ragged. It's just like keep it's like so scared that she's just still going.
Mm. I
I have
think
oh, go ahead.
um I think as Maisie starts to slow down is when Enki is more of like, Maisie, slow. Maisie, we're far away. Maisie, we need to take a breath.
I we need to keep running because I don't know. I don't know what like maybe he saw and is gonna be like sending people after us. So we should probably just keep running, and maybe if they send people after us, then nothing will happen to Giuseppe. Uh so and it's just like still like trying to run, even though especially with talking, really could not do both.
Giuseppe has already talked to them. Giuseppe is already. I. No one is. No one is behind us, Maisie.
So okay, so maybe maybe we should I can't I know we should go back, but I don't think I can. And I think stops running as she says that. You can see like, you know, the like whale eyes, like when a dog is like really freaked out, and you can see like the whites of their eyes. Like you can see that looking at her.
Yeah. I think Enki pulls out a little like canteen with water and hands it to Maisie and says, "We don't need to go back."
But what's gonna I mean, what's gonna happen
What's
to
going to
Giuseppe?
happen? What's going to happen to our friend who's being watched over by Rosemary? If Rosemary isn't with us, Rosemary is with Giuseppe. Just I am not concerned for Giuseppe in the slightest with Rosemary by his side.
Maisie sits down on the ground and says, "Oh no, but that means what if Rosemary has to fight?" And that's the one thing that he said he didn't want to do. And I left Giuseppe there to be punished by the king, and I left Rosemary there to do the only thing that she said she couldn't do for me.
Rosemary has to make Rosemary's decisions. And it wouldn't, if Rosemary chooses to fight, Rosemary's not choosing to fight for anyone other than Rosemary. Rosemary knows what he's doing. That is never something I've been concerned about Rosemary. And there's other ways to solve conflict other than fighting, and Rosemary is very sharp with her tongue, and I am if we go on and meet up with them later and it turns out that they have had to fight, I would be so incredibly shocked. Giuseppe and Rosemary together, I cannot imagine anyone choosing to fight them when Giuseppe's cider and Rosemary's questions and sharp wit. I don't. I understand that it is possible. You are correct, but I cannot see that happening.
I, Anki, I want to go back. I really do. I want to go back and be there with them, and I want to go back and stand up to the king, but
no one is asking that of you. I know you are. I know you are, but no one externally is asking that of you. A king is a formidable foe. We have all had our lives changed in very difficult ways from the uprising, from the king, and not being able to face someone who, I would say, caused such horrors that we saw with the rebellion. And I understand that, sure, an uprising is started by, or is put forth by the people. You can argue that we chose to uprise, but you never no one has an uprising in a good time. That is something that you're pushed into. And seeing someone who forced people to make such a hard choice is not, I don't want to be anywhere near that man either. I'm fine reading about him. I have no desire to sit down and talk to him.
Not not really scared of the king though.
Mm. Your father, yes?
Yeah.
I'm not Nathaniel.
Again, Saya?
Yes, it is. I would not say patooey to the sandwich. It is an adequate sandwich, I believe.
I want to spend a token with Rosemary, because you talked about the king like trying to judge based on how other people are reacting,
Mhm.
and I feel like most of the people around here would be trying to base their reaction on what the king does.
Yeah.
Even
So
with
in my
Giuseppe
mind,
being
it's a
like,
bit of
"This is the best sandwich you've ever had."
yeah, and a lot of these people are like Giuseppe
Oh no.
great, but that's the king. He can punish us. So if he thinks it's bad, I think we shouldn't like it. So there's a lot of like, uh, uh? And so I want to spend a token to provide an aspect of a material or immediate problem. And Rosemary is starts. Well, isn't this one of the loveliest sandwiches you've ever had? Isn't this delicious? And just ranting and raving about it. Like, oh, and Giuseppe, the way the tomato combines with the other ingredients that you've put in here. This mayo, a delightful touch. Incredible.
Thank you,
Wouldn't you agree,
Rosemary.
sire?
Oh, quiet, yes. Just absolutely scrumptious.
Did you say oh quite yes or oh quiet yes?
Oh, quite. Oh,
I
quite, yes.
thought you said oh quiet yes.
Oh, quiet.
Shut up.
Shut up.
I mean
Shut
that
up yes.
that makes sense. Honestly, that makes sense for the king being like, "Shut up! I'm gonna say your opinion again, but I said it."
Oh. Uh, uh, why? I think so. One thing that Enki can always do is like ask, "What have we learned from this?"
Mm.
And I feel like in like the most gentle way of just being like, "Well, like what did you expect from meeting your father? How did you think it was? What did you think it was going to be like?"
The last time I saw him, I was a kid. And so I thought that when I saw him, I was going to be able to be a grown up and say, I'm living my life the way that I want to live it, and I'm doing what I want, and I would be able to show him all the progress I've made and that I'm a different person and that I did the right thing and that I was right to run away and that he's wrong and that he's always been wrong. Everything he does and says is wrong. But when I saw him, I just felt like a kid again. I felt like I hadn't grown or changed at all. And so I was too scared to even let him see me.
Having traveled with you for quite some time now, you're not Rosemary, Maisie, I will absolutely confirm that you have in fact changed and you have in fact grown and you have become, and we have differences of opinions, that's what it is, but you were absolutely a different person than you were even when we met, let alone when you initially ran away. And my immediate thought is, well, when I was at the university, there was another professor who was just a absolute bumbling fool. Everything he said was truly moronic. I haven't seen him in ages. I hate this man. He was so stupid. I don't tend to hate people very often. I did not care for this man. And every time I put something forth, and even in an academic meeting, when we were planning out different things, when I was presenting on a thesis that I was working on or research that I was doing, he would absolutely put me down. Always, no matter what, would put me down. And at first I wanted to come up with something that was so good, so perfect, that he was unable to argue. It would be just absolutely perfect. But there was one thing that I was very, very proud of. And I was proud of most of my things. So there was one thing I was very, very proud of. And of course he had some, I don't even remember what the comment was. It was asinine. But he made that comment and I realized if he agreed with my thesis, I wouldn't. Like, that would be such a red flag for me that I was doing something wrong. Is if this man said, "Oh, I love it." You love it? What? How? Why? What did I do wrong? And I guess that's you and your father do not see eye to eye. You and your father have different life. Yes, it would be wonderful if our parents fully supported us in things. I haven't fully come across that. I've had many students whose parents thought their academic journeys were useless and they should be a farmer. But why? I would like you to question, and I'm not arguing, and you might have an answer for this. Like, I might not be correct. That is always, debate. But why do you need him to think you made the right decision? What do you think you made the right decision?
I know I made the right decision, and
Well, there you go.
but it's so fucking annoying when you're right and someone won't agree with you.
Yes, because they're idiots. That's
Yeah.
the thing, though, is they're stupid. Now, of course, there's friendly debate, but when people just say, no, you're wrong, idiot, close-minded, not worth your time. You ran away to do what you needed to do, and your father may never see that. And I would also suggest that if your father said, Maisie, you were right, would that actually feel good? Or would it be like if this scholar agreed with me? Would you be a little bit of why do you agree? What did I do wrong that you agree with me? What, like, sometimes when you're going down a path and you realize you've actually veered off and you're in a totally different area and you're a little bit concerned. Like, would you feel good, truly good, if your father validated you, or would you feel like something went horribly wrong?
I think it depends on if he said it. Like, if he seemed like he was kind of mad when he was saying it, I think it would feel good. Oh my gosh. My cat is having a meltdown.
Cece, stop it.
Cece, no.
Cece, quit it.
This is like, I feel like the first time that I've had something serious going on and I'm not just playing Yeah, Highland cow.
Or
Like, what am I doing? Am I doing this correctly?
you're doing great.
Greg's been pretty serious.
Sorry, Cece was scratching the back of my divider so much. I don't know if you could see, but it was shaking the entire divider.
Jesus.
I was like, I have to get her.
She wants attention now.
Yeah.
She's like, end the stream.
End of the stream. I end your life.
That's the next character that we play. It's just a very threatening cat who will fuck up other cats.
Ooh.
No,
Fuck up
Isabel
other cats.
is doing BDSM with these. Anyway.
What's happening back with Rosemary and Giuseppe?
I think Giuseppe's kind of like, cool, everything's good now. Like, obviously, we made this bet and I won, and so we're all square. Which I don't know if that's the case.
I was curious if, like, I don't know what the king's reaction to all of this is.
Yes, well, as you do make a mean sandwich, as they say. Oh, as a reward, we will do the whole tomato thing where the peasants will eat my great grandpapa's tomatoes. But as an extra reward, you can come be my personal chef.
Oh, that's...
Oh, you're speechless. You're so excited.
That's such an honor, Your Grace.
It sure is. I don't ask just anyone.
I
don't you think
that that's a little...
I don't even know who our chef is now. Daniel, who is our chef?
We have, and I think Thaniel kind of weighs the options here of whether or not to defend the current chef.
Oh no.
Chef.
Or whether it's worth the fight.
Sorry.
He is of little consequence, Your Majesty.
Yes, I know. He's just a chef. Anyway.
I mean, Your Excellency, I would just say that, I mean, you honor me, but I can only make this same sandwich, and a king can't live
Excellent.
on BLT alone.
It. Oh, you'll be surprised. I actually haven't eaten in months.
What?
Yes, it's my kingly digestion. Correct, Daniel, right? Yes, my kingly digestion.
Yes, the king is... His Majesty exaggerates.
No, it's been actually since wait, what is like 2 seasons ago, and I don't have it pulled up in front of me.
Oh, Silt, I think.
Silt. Oh no, I haven't eaten since the Silt celebrations. You recall? Anywho, it is just one of the great gifts that one such as I, of such renowned heritage and planned descendants, that I am just too good to eat. And now stop being coy. Oh.
Your Excellency, do you have a physician that specializes in, like, a personal physician?
Oh no, Daniel says I don't need one.
Oh. Just kind of like side eyes Thaniel nervously.
I operate as the king's physician, as I am also trained in the medical arts.
I
Okay.
thought you were trained in waiting.
I have many skills, Your Honor,
Oh, fascinating.
most of which go to waste.
Sorry?
And
Sorry.
I
The
said
king
Most of
is
which-
Canadian.
Most of which go to your waist. You know,
I said
you eat
nothing,
your
Your
skills.
Honor.
What does this? Okay, then you're confusing. Yes, young frog, please. You'll come to our castle tonight, and you will live in the tiny little chef's room. We'll kick the other one out. I don't know where he'll go. Probably down here. That makes sense. Yeah, it's a trade. It's a trade. We're just swapping you out. It's fine.
Giuseppe kind of leans over, like tilting his head to Thaniel, and is like, "My lord, are you sure that it sounds like a long time to not eat anything?" And just kind of like, I feel like we're standing sort of close to each other, and kind of motions with his hand over, not meaning to be as close to the king as he is. And I think his hand kind of goes through the king in that moment. That would looks at the king, looks at Thaniel. That would kind of explain some things, huh?
Yes, behold I am so above all of you peasants that I don't even need a corporeal form anymore. Bask in my unbodied glory.
He's
Go ahead, say.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we are around the time that we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Zay, you said
Cliffhanger.
Zay, you said you might have something for a button. Is
I
it
think
still
that we
okay?
hit it better. So no, yeah,
I was gonna say, is it still applicable? The idea that
Yeah,
you
sorry.
have
not really. No, that was great. That was perfect.
What were you thinking? Because we could backtrack it.
What if?
It can come up later. I was just gonna have Thaniel head off because I think that maybe he spotted Maisie in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah. So maybe when Giuseppe I do like that still. So maybe when Giuseppe turns to say, like, that would explain a lot. Like, because you said you turned to Thaniel to say it, that maybe Thaniel's not there anymore. And then the king is like, I've, like, transcended.
Yes.
I'm beyond all your ilk.
Cool. I like that a lot.
Can we get a
radiant.
shot then? Can we get a shot of Thaniel like pulling up a cloak then as he like hustles off and just like he can get himself out of this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The cloak is like exactly the same as Maisie's cloak that she
Yeah.
pulled up earlier
Yeah.
to get away.
We get a split screen of both
incredible.
of them like running.
Yeah. Very cool.
Now your dad's hunting you down.
Just what I was
Ooh.
afraid of.
Oh.
All right, well, let's really quickly go around and we'll do reverse order this time for plugs, other places that people can find you, etc., etc. So this time we will start with Zay.
Hi, I've been Zay, and I'm not sorry about it. I play RPGs and sometimes write them. If you're interested in checking out any of my games, you can find them all on itch at Wild J Blue. I have a handful of games up there. Yeah, if you're watching this, if you like this, you'll probably like my games. They're also weird and goofy, so they fit right along. You can find me most places on the internet under the same username, Wild J Blue, but I'm not active pretty much anywhere. So good luck.
That's the
Try
way to
not to be
be.
down.
You can find me, but
It's
there
frankly better.
will be nothing there.
You're not going to find
just
anything of
imagining,
value.
I'm imagining a catch me if you can type scenario across the interwebs.
hmm
Yeah. No, Zay's made the right choice.
Melanie, what about you? You're muted.
hmm
Hi, I've been muted, and also Melanie. I can be found at Lemony Drews on formerly Twitter and Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter much now that they force me to go to x.com instead of Twitter. And so I just kind of go to see what my friends are up to every once in a while, but I don't really post. Also super weirdy feeling on Tumblr if you feel like seeing the things I'm currently obsessed about. Mostly dungeon meshy right now. If you want to support things that have to do with me, you can support Taylor because I'm often on this channel. You can also go and buy any one of the many very good games from my partner at Take the Bard. How did I say that? Love, don't watch this.
My
Your
partner's
partner?
name
My
I
partner
know how to
Teague.
say. Well, you said
My
tag.
partner.
Tag doesn't. Tag.
Take the Bard at. I just say it that way because when it's spelled that way, it's
You forget.
yeah. I forget and I'm dumb. So
Tag the Bard.
Take the
Tag
Bard
your
at
it.
itch.io. They have many very good games. Also, I don't know when this will be happening, but we are looking to put out our the podcast that Mila was promoting at the beginning of the stream, which is Get Richie or Guy Trying, where we watch all of Guy Ritchie's movies and try to figure out what it means to even make one, you know? And that's it for me.
And then Mila.
What does it mean to be married to Madonna? I'm pretty sure that's the correct man.
It means that
Well, I
you make
think-
a very fucking bad movie with her because she's obsessed with this one. She wanted to do oh my god.
Okay.
It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
Okay, so this is just a trailer for your
Drop the
podcast.
episode. Drop the episode.
Drop the app.
It haunts me. It is a thing that I can't get over and I can't stop talking about.
I need you guys to publish this is the thing. Like, I need you to, my two pals, to publish this. I need to hear it.
The format of it I don't think I've talked about this with any of you guys, but the format of it is we talk about it beforehand and then we go watch it and then we film. We record also once we have. So we talk about our expectations and stuff, what we know, if one of us is familiar with it or not. After we watch, I believe it's called Swept Away, is the one with Madonna. We come back after watching it and just like head in hands, like it's so bad. It's so bad. It's like actively harmful. It's an actively harmful movie.
I'm so excited. Also, correct way of doing a movie podcast. I'm not going to start talking about my ideas because I'm going to. I was about to say plug myself, and it feels weird now after the episode that we've just had. So I'm going to talk about things. So, hello. I have been and will probably continue to be Mila, at least for the next little bit. I don't know. I was literally just being like, is that a name that I feel connected to still? As we were talking. But for now, yeah. I sometimes stream here on Twitch, which I do enjoy and would like to do more. I would like to plug Brian K. Murphy, aka Murphy. For really inspiring the voice of the king based on his voice of Ren, who he always brings back into NADPOD. Big NADPOD fan. Yeah, I'm gonna, my plug is gonna be Brian Murphy.
Yeah, I really
That's
think
the most on brand.
I'm plugging Murph. Okay.
This stream has such a high profile that I really think Murph would benefit
Yeah.
from us shouting him out. Kind of
Yeah,
a
obviously
hidden
doing
gem
it.
in the
I mean,
It's really nice of you to help out a small creator.
Yeah.
Has anyone really heard of College Humor? Has really anyone heard of Dimension 20? Has anyone heard of NADPOD?
I don't think so.
I
What
mean,
does that
the thing that
even
drives me
stand
nuts is when
for?
people are like, oh, NADPOD, like copy Dimension 20. Look at the dates. Things are dated. I need you to Google.
The way that you said "look at the dates" is what you're saying is true, but you sounded like such a conspiracy
Look at the fossil
theorist.
records.
Look at the date.
Look at them.
Look at the dates.
What are they
The
keeping
Earth is
from
only
you?
6,000 years old.
Look at the
Look
dates.
at the dates.
Okay, I'm Taylor. This is my channel. So you can find me here. You can also find me on YouTube, on TikTok, Tumblr, Twitter, Blue Sky. I've got my fingers in all the pies. Some cool stuff that I have. Don't laugh at me. Some cool stuff that I have coming up. June and I actually have some really exciting streams. First of all, the finale of Shall We, will be in 2 weeks from today. But also, I'm playing a 2-player romance TTRPG with my friend Dreamy, who, if anybody's been watching this, know that
Oh my
Dreamy's been
God.
begging
Oh my
me to do
God.
that for forever.
He's been trying to romance you for years.
Taylor,
Yeah.
people are thirsty for you. Do you have
I don't know.
any
I
idea?
don't know why. I truly don't know why.
Feral
I
about
feel like
That's
I'm
gonna be
being
absolutely
bullied.
incredible.
I
No.
feel like it's like a bullying thing.
When I do it, I am serious. In like a joking way, and that we're both married, but like
Yeah.
if we were both single, hey.
Wow.
I'm
being
done. I'm making myself uncomfortable. Finish your stream.
Mila's
It really
shooting their
listen,
shot
listen.
while I'm doing
Stream.
plugs.
It really felt, Mila, like you were about to say, when I do it, it is bullying, but everyone else is serious.
Everyone else is being serious.
No.
And instead you said it the other way around.
No,
which was
I'm just
that
being
I
very
did it
honest.
more than everybody else.
I'm just autistic.
Mila and I have already played a game where we romance each other on
It
stream.
was so good.
Yeah, I think
I was
that's
gonna
actually
ask
gonna
if
be
it
my
was-
ball
soon.
skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was going to be Tombs again that you guys were going to be doing because that's
It's
obviously
not. We're
Jamie's
playing
vibe.
we're playing Eyes on the Prize, which is a game where you have to like
Ooh.
pretend that it's like a pretend married, but then you fall in
Oh.
love kind of game.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
I know the cover of that one,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
and it's gonna be so good with you two. Excellent.
I'm excited for it. So we've got that going.
You
We've
know
got
what? Fuck
actually
Murph. This is what I'm playing.
Taylor, are you worried that you'll actually fall in love during the stream?
no. But maybe.
Is Mike worried?
No. Mike could not be
No.
less
Mike should be
concerned about
threatened by
this.
Dreamy.
Everyone should be threatened by Dreamy.
We are.
That's true. We are. Okay, so that's I think gonna be on the 9th. I can't remember. It's a Sunday. And then we've got a GMless game called The Station that I'll be playing for Incredibly Indie. I don't remember the date of that. And then at the end of the month, Mila and Jason are going to be guests on Over the Table, and it's going to be Am I the Asshole edition. So
I'm-
excited for that.
So excited.
Yeah.
I'm also just so excited that I'm paired with Jason. It's going to be incredible.
It's
I'm
gonna
so
be-
excited.
It's gonna be good.
Oh,
So that's the last Saturday
God.
of June is gonna be that. So yes, tune in for those things through the month of June. I feel like there's something else I think I'm forgetting. Oh, I think I'm playing a single player game too. And also doing some video game streams in and amongst all of that. I think that's everything that I really have to plug. If you're not already following me on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, please do, because I'm posting a lot of content there. So if you don't like watching long streams, you can watch just the funny parts or just the parts that I think are funny. I think that's everything though. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. Do you all want to say goodbye to chat and goodbye to the YouTube VOD?
Goodbye, chat.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, YouTube
We
VOD.
love
chat.
you.
VOD.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, YouTube
Wanna
VOD.
be.